Okay. I believe we are starting. Hold on. Yes, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Break the Rules stream. We are live, we are here, we are queer, and we are here for the amazing Turkey Tom. And this is going to be the Turkey Jerk, ladies and gentlemen. I am so proud to have
the Turkey Jerk.
Turkey Jerk. That's what it's
totally
called now.
Ruined everything.
This is the
I've
Break
only
the
been
Rules
18
Turkey
for like
Jerk.
9 months or something. You know, you might not.
It's fine.
Get away with that one.
Lev, are you grooming Tom?
Well, no, but I have
Are
somebody
you one of
who
those
will.
friendly adventure guys?
I have somebody who will. Okay, everybody.
Lev was grooming someone else lately, but I'm not allowed to say who.
Okay, I want to show you guys something. I want everybody to meet my good friend Tom Turkey.
Did you buy this for this episode? Did you buy a fucking life-size turkey thing?
Yes, he did.
Yes, I did.
This is what your
glad
super chats are going towards everyone.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see the production value.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
For those who don't know what this is, by the way, this is a decoy turkey. So all the male
turkey hunting.
Yeah, all the male turkeys, when they see this, they get really upset because this is a competitor. And they even have one you could buy where the male turkey would copulate, like pretend to copulate with the female turkey dummy. And they even have like a gyrating motion to it. So like they go all out.
So you
Copulate.
bought a turkey size king.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So you bought. Interesting. I'm in the wrong line of work.
Oh,
yes, you are. So anyway, Turkey Tom, I love your videos. It was thanks to Gio that I got introduced to your videos. Please tell us why you are in this sphere and how you got started. You know, all the interview bullshit. Okay, now you can do the introduction. I did the pre-introduction.
I mean, you asked him.
Okay, fine, whatever. Tom, go for it.
Who's on first?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I started making YouTube videos on the channel I'm on now when I was like 14. And then I like kind of fell into the commentary thing from the people I was watching at the time, like Leafy and I Hate Everything. And then I started kind of doing my own videos. And then probably, I think it was like 2018, I started, I went from like 9,000 subscribers to like 50,000 in one summer. And then since then, I've just been kind of doing it consistently. And I've been doing it full time for like a year, I guess. Well, I'm in college, but that's my only job. Yeah.
It's an amazing thing to have somebody like yourself who it's very addicting to listen to you. I don't know why. I just started. I think the first video I saw, oh God, I think it was the Dream video. And then recently I saw the video with that crazy Clay guy who had a haircut, which kind of looked like mine, which kind of disturbed me. He had like, you know, when the hair gets...
And you both start off with animation, Lev, so how did that make you feel?
I can tell you what I like about Turkey Tom. Turkey Tom always goes for that ass. Turkey Tom doesn't care. He doesn't mince words. He doesn't play. Like, he goes straight for the ass.
I'm glad you bring that up because I am an ass man. So.
Oh, you're an ass man.
Controversial.
There's a lot of that going on these days.
I don't know if you realize this, but men have asses.
Yeah, he's a, are you a
Apparently,
friendly
women look
adventure
at
guy?
men's asses.
They do.
And by the way, we are gonna have Brittany Venti coming in real soon. And,
speaking of ass.
Well, okay.
Okay.
And, all right.
Here we go.
Brittany's a friend of the show. Anyway,
what I wanted to...
She's a stinky friend of the show.
Be friends with that ass.
Jesus Christ, man! Be nice.
Brittany fawned over my Pokemon card collection, so she's based as fucking my book.
Oh my God, look at these Pokemon.
Essentially, yeah, she sounded like that.
Well, maybe that could be... never mind. What I wanted to say before we go on is I think we have a very unique opportunity with this stream because between all of us, YouTube has been really, I would say, in terms of just its impact on, to go really like hippy dippy, to say that it's impacted the world's consciousness in some ways, that we have instantaneous videos. And for the first, I would say 10 years, I was there at the rate, I'm an old, like almost 30-year-old boomer, but Lev is actually a 30-year-old boomer. From the beginning,
I'm a 34-year-old Gen X bastard.
There you go. Though even more of a boomer. I think from the beginning, YouTube really embodied the phrase, even though it's such a cliche and even a gratuitous lie now, the phrase broadcast yourself, where weirdos and schizos and autistics and various other people with various other personality disorders can come together and broadcast any sort of inane, moronic, but sometimes flashes of brilliant thoughts.
Yeah, I like the
and
nostalgia
opinions.
critic stuff too.
Oh, but I think what's interesting is that between Noah, Turkey Tom, and Brittany Venti, I think that as time went on, let's see, some of the most popular content is what you would dub the quote unquote commentary community. And we'll get into that a bit more. But what I wanted to say is that between these three and what Mass Bastard and what James and what Stain Haynes does on Twitter, I think that there is, in my opinion, there is something there that's trying to rise above the level of detached irony while still using that sort of ironic pastiche. For example, Turkey Tom, he comes off with his videos as, very, very much a sardonic critic of, a more almost reverberations of a more sophisticated era when they actually had genuine thoughts and opinions on TV. When I watch Turkey Tom, it's almost like I'm watching, I don't know, Firing Line or something like that. I feel like, and Noah's content especially, and Brittany Venti's, I feel that there's something there. There's sort of a unique trajectory that's going on. And the way that there's this sort of ruthlessness mixed in with this passionate disposition, the way that all of you just really light what's like the sort of events around you. Because let's face it, the commentary community, I've said on the show before, it's largely people just commenting on other people. Let's face it. Was there some kind of like original antediluvian state where it's like there was content at one time? There was, I don't know, video game streams, but then it became about the drama, then the drama upon drama. Then all of a sudden everyone wants to be...
Yeah, the snake eats its own tail.
Exactly,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
nobody actually makes anything anymore. Everybody just talks about other people making shit about talking about some other fucker.
Everyone wants to be Keemstar. But, oh, I hate to say it. But when I watch...
especially Ethan Klein.
Oh, well, we'll get to that. But
that's
when I watch...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say when I watch your videos, Noah, or when I watch Turkey Tom's, I'm seeing something different than the usual commentary community schlock. I think that what you people are doing, and Brittany Venti does this as well. Yeah, I know. Who are you people?
What do you mean, you people?
You can't say what do you can't. Never mind.
You people. I think that there's something like usually what's interesting is that Turkey Tom's videos comes in after the fact, after a community has dissolved, after a creator has totally destroyed themselves. Let's say dehumanize themselves and face to bloodshed on the internet. And it's very interesting to see how Turkey Tom picks up those pieces. But and Noah does this as well. And of course, Brittany a lot of times has caused a lot of those dissolutions of groups. But I just wanted to say I really love and appreciate the sort of new crop of creators that have risen above the sort of shameless grifting that is so emblematic of YouTube, but also the commentary community, I would say specifically. And I just want to say that I tip my fedora to everyone in this panel. And of course, I mean, we always come,
yeah. And I tip my fedora to Noah's mustache.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, he shaved. So,
Noah,
finally. you had something to say, my friend. And then
I was going to say it's hilarious that you say that, Gio, because I lost about 85% of, I don't know if you call them friends, acquaintances, content creators, because they said that I was exactly what you just said that I am not. So I think that's hilarious. Yes.
Oh my God.
You address one thing and everybody's like, oh, I just think that you're a toxic person who doesn't understand that the way that this industry works is you just suck everybody's cock all the time.
Yeah, oh fuck everybody. Here's my content strategy. All right, a rising tide lifts all ships. But if you can't take a joke, if you can't have a laugh about some shit, like come on, like don't take yourself that seriously. It's the internet. It's all one big joke.
I think
that's my thing. I always say everyone takes themselves too seriously.
The thing I want to hit on from what you said, Gio, was you were talking about how the commentary community is one of the most popular genres on YouTube. That is true today, but I feel that it's kind of changed in such a way that the sort of commentary community that I was inspired by and the one that I kind of come from is not the one that's dominant on YouTube anymore. This is a thing we talk about a lot. Like in my videos, I talk about it a lot on my Twitter, in like my friends, video streams, Twitter, and whatever else. 5-6 years ago, the commentary community was a band of like autists, schizos, and like social rejects who didn't really have anywhere else to go, and so they went on YouTube to talk about their like retarded opinions over like Counter-Strike gameplay. Over time, due to I think a basic traumatization from sort of the media targeting, cases of that, call it harassment, whatever you want to. Basically, the stigma around it has led to basically a bunch of sort of very clean Viners populating what's known as commentary now. And, no knock to their content necessarily. Some names that might stand out to you would be probably Cody Ko, Drew Gooden, Danny Gonzalez. And these are guys who, they make kind of funny videos, but they're not edgy in any way. They're not really pushing boundaries. At the end of the day, they're not really calling out any injustice. I think the majority of what they want to do doesn't really come down to any, I hate to say it, call it journalism. Fucking text.
I tell you what it is, brother. It's the difference between Tom Green and Jamie Kennedy.
I don't know what the fuck that means, but what I will say is that I think there's been
as a Gen X guy, everybody gets that one because Jamie Kennedy was the guy who came after and was just the worst jabroni of all time when it comes to doing.
I mean, the thing is, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world because I do get the
huge fad. Everybody loves Tom Green.
I do get like wanting to be safe because at the end of the day, that's the environment that YouTube and kind of the online culture has created, right? Whereas 5-6 years ago, really up until probably the end of 2017, there was this kind of thing where it was cool to, it was cool to be mean. It was cool to not necessarily just be like the nice guy, be like, oh, I don't hate them, but they did some bad things, but they're okay. They're probably an okay guy. There was this visceral toxicity to it that is not allowed anymore. And I think a lot of people miss that. I think there's a yearning for it. I think it will probably come back at some point, but right now the climate is just not right for it.
Well, have you seen a lot of stand-up comedy? For example, where I first saw Brittany was at Skankfest, and this was a comedy festival that happened every year for a couple of years with the Legion of Skanks, Louis J. Gomez, Dave Smith, Big J. Okerson. So these are like classic comics like Friends of Joe Rogan and so on and so forth. So that environment I always found to be a safe space for being able to express a lot of things. And even though there has been an invasion of more of these woke alternative comedians, whatever you want to call them, more of these theater kids who grew up in a similar environment that I think a lot of these people you're talking about, Tom. But have you ever taken an interest in more of that kind of world? Because that seems to be like the juiciest, raunchiest, whatever you want to call it, type of landscape that I think a lot of people are yearning for. And as a result, I think this is why a lot of places like 4chan, for example, are very popular when it comes to generating memetic content.
Yeah, I mean, I do have an interest in that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to be like, here's my stand-up comedy and then show people my video about like PewDiePie, like I'm not going to do that. So like, I'm still doing YouTube. That's what I want to do. So yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I think the reason why they can exist is because they can, they can create their own kind of brands and businesses independent of like being at, the YouTube ad revenues behest. If those people want to, they have platforms big enough that they can, start like Patreons, like Cumtown, for example. How much do they make on Patreon a month? Like 80 grand or something crazy like that.
Are they up to
and they're making
now.
Yeah, that's crazy how much. And they're making extremely like edgy content. They have no interest in playing by YouTube's rules, but they also don't really rely on YouTube. They have their own thing going on. So I think for those kinds of videos, if you want to be really out of line, I think that's probably the future for now.
Do you
they're
think
they're at 88,526 now. That is wild.
Man, crazy. But do you think that YouTube, and I guess this is a question for you and Noah, do you think YouTube in some ways has eclipsed other like sort of mediums? I mean, it definitely has eclipsed television, but do you think that as much as the commentary community has changed, there certainly still is an interest for this level of almost, I would say, mind-numbing content in some ways? Not what you two specifically are doing, but I mean, it seems that there tends to be a lot of this, like Noah was alluding to, this sort of agreement, this omerta, this clout sharing that goes on behind the scenes. But what has been your experience being someone that has been labeled quote unquote toxic by the community, whatever that means? Do you feel that, like you said, maybe in the future there may be some space for quote unquote edgier content or more honest content? But I mean, well, who knows if Susan will allow that? If Mommy Susan will allow that. But
sometimes Sweet Susan.
Sometimes Sweet
There's
Susan.
There's always
yes.
BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, all the alt tech places.
But YouTube has
sites.
Yeah, I think there's a EDP445.com. That's a new platform coming out.
Yeah, eat that
for some
pussy.
content.
Yeah, you know, a strong black creator whose voice needs to be heard.
He is strong. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I think there is a future for this kind of content, and I think it will come back because ultimately it's not what YouTube wants. This is an issue I have with a lot of people who criticize YouTube on this basis. At the end of the day, YouTube has to, I think they barely turn a profit, but they do have to cater to advertisers because without them, they're not going anywhere. They can't survive without them. And so I think YouTube themselves as a company, if it was up to them, would allow basically everything on their platform shy of beheading footage and like child porn. They don't want that. No one wants that. But I think they do want to allow the edgier creators on. The issue is that every time, an edgy creator gets popular, there seems to be some huge controversy with it where the Wall Street Journal or BuzzFeed writes an article about it. And the thing that journalists do, the YouTubers won't do, is YouTubers see an issue in the community or they disagree with something. It used to be they make a video, they get their opinion out there. Maybe the person gets some mean comments and that's it. Journalists will email and harass advertisers telling them, oh, look at what these guys are doing on YouTube. And then the advertisers are like, oh, well, firstly, we don't want to be associated with edgy, jokes and content. We don't want there to be a controversy behind our stuff. We don't want the Coke ad on the video, making fun of, whoever, protected class, insert there. But the other thing is it's also a nice bartering tool because they'll be like, oh, we'll come back to you, YouTube, for a lower price. And you have to institute all of these systems that are going to fuck creators over via content ID or, basically saying like, oh, you can't say this word, you can't talk about conspiracy content, you can't make fun of this person, you can't make fun of people's looks. Like that's the road we're going down. And so I think there are ways around it, but I think every time someone gets big for now, we're going to see another article like that until advertisers and YouTube stop caving, and I don't think that's going to happen for the foreseeable future. The way
I think it's insane because like you look at Cumtown and they have plenty of ad sponsors and stuff like that, and you see how much they make on fucking Patreon. They're one of the biggest earners on Patreon across everything, not just podcasts. So it's like obviously that audience is there, and then like what's going to happen? Coca-Cola does a fucking ad on an edgy video. Yeah, most that's gonna happen is someone's gonna like bitch about Coca-Cola for a week and then nothing fucking happens. These are corporations that are too big to fail, so they really shouldn't be fucking that concerned if their ads are attached to fucking edgy videos.
And I'll go a step further and I'll say, brother, listen here, man. These goddamn companies, if they're gonna be able to hire death squads to go into places and hire child labor to run their factories and shit in other countries, and they're gonna say, well, he made a joke that may have been racist on YouTube. He may have alluded that the Holocaust wasn't as bad as people said it was.
Yeah. He may have been streaming with
the world. I was hoping we wouldn't bring up Holocaust denial on the stream, but I guess
Coca-Cola has a long history with Fanta and
who's worse here? The fucking alt-right YouTuber that's denying the Holocaust or fucking any of these companies that are advertising with their child labor in fucking China? Like it's
Coca-Cola has destroyed villages and kicked out native farmers and has depleted aquifers and has contributed to deforestation. So I don't know.
I was going to say
profited them and IBM.
But I agree with Turkey Tom. Let's avoid let's avoid the.
I don't mean to get stuck in right here, but I feel like I don't think that nearly enough blame is put in the right place in this. I don't give a fuck about what YouTube does, honestly. I really think that it's because so many of the creators on the site are spineless fucking pussies.
That's very true.
That's really like that has been my entire experience with YouTube up to this point. Is like I am literally dumbfounded, gobsmacked, and awestruck at how fucking spineless these people are. Like the amount of like weird like social threats these people will like try and drop on you, like as if you're going to care. And I was like, oh my god, this is how this works, isn't it? This is why everyone says the same shit, is because they're so fucking
you're right. Definitely one of the most common messages I've got when like I'll start tweeting about making a video about someone. This doesn't happen as much anymore because now I kind of am a little bigger. I'm like 200,000 subscribers or something. But when I was like below like 100K, I'd get these like tweets and then I get these DMs, especially, and the DM will be like, hey, I feel like that's a poor move for your future. Dude. It would be something like that. Or it would be like, I think you're going to burn bridges with that.
Burn bridges. A guy who talks
But you have a will to power to create your own future. That's the difference.
Dude.
It's like, I don't give a fuck.
Go ahead, Charles, and then Noah.
Yeah.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Mast?
I said, Bill, you got to build your own bridge. Burn a bridge. If you're going
Mhm.
to be a guy who talks shit, that's the whole gimmick is burning bridges. The
Mhm.
whole thing is to talk mad shit.
What did the conquistadors do? They not only burned bridges, they burned their own ships, so they couldn't get back to the country until.
Was that true, or was
Well,
that
you know, they
just,
were cold.
Well,
A lot of cold nights in Mexico back in the day.
Noah, you had. Well, I wanted to ask
The
you. Noah,
planet
about
has
your own
warmed up a lot,
experience.
Gio. This is now about global warming.
But in a way, we are internet conquistadors in a certain way, where we're coming in on the culture
Horny.
that
We're
I think
coming in
has
horny.
been exactly.
Well, YouTube
we're
has
coming in
probably
red hot.
contributed to global warming with their server farms. That's
Oh, for
probably
sure.
the truth. But Noah, you wanted to. What has been your experience? I mean, there has been like even I think you say
Which time?
which time?
Do you want when I was upset about somebody soliciting child porn and everyone told me that if I ever talked about it, it would be the end of my career, and then my
Oh,
manager
man.
called me an
Oh,
alcoholic, or he called me an
feel like,
alcoholic
brother,
as he
being
did
an
a dab on the
alcoholic-
call with me. That was great.
Alcohol seems
and
like
then-
the lesser of two evils there, brother.
Yeah,
Like, go
And-
ahead and drink up.
If he's calling you
And-
an alcoholic, that just means he can't fucking hang. So that's on him.
exact. I know.
Like it's
But-
literally on him.
That's one example. I've had countless examples where people are like, Noah, I love everything that you're saying right now about this whole, situation
Oh, they do the
that I
sandwich.
helped
They
make
do the
worse.
compliment, the salesman sandwich of, oh,
Yeah.
we love you, but
Look.
actually we hate you.
Dude, I love
We
you
love
so
you.
much for doing the right thing here. But the thing is that, like, I totally agree with you, man. But I make so much money that, like, I just can't having you saying these things.
The most
That's like-
frustrating thing about it too is like I feel like the amount of double standards within the community are so apparent. Like big creators will fuck over their friend for one thing and then enjoy someone else for another thing. It's so gay, the amount of like pandering to the audience.
The
and
only
these,
way
like,
to describe
retarded
it, perfect
12-year-olds
word.
that spend all the day on Twitter.
My
Yeah.
favorite is that every single time the turnaround from these people has always been like, I'm like, Noah, I was just so concerned about their mental health. And I'm like, oh, wow, dude, you're such
You're
a
an
good
online
fucking person.
personality and you're putting yourself
Wow.
out there,
Yeah.
and you're so concerned about Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm
well,
just
it's really
torn
we
all
live
to
in a
pieces about
self-care.
mental
I could have done
health.
something about it, but I just was making so much money that I was
Yeah.
concerned about their mental
The
The
health.
thing is,
Too
they're not
busy
even going to
wiping
lose
our
money
ass on
if they
$100
just.
bills.
I know.
I think audiences
know.
respect people who are like, honest and will like break it a little bit and be able to struggle a little bit with that. I think they respect you way more than if you cower under everything, because then you're just going to be caught up in the storm. And like,
Yep.
maybe you're going to be making good money right now, but in 2 years, who the fuck is going to be watching you?
I
That's
mean,
what I
I say
always
this
say.
all the time that like you can't get canceled unless you allow yourself to get canceled
Mhm.
and
Oh,
apologize.
yeah.
And like, same goes with that. Like if you're
Yeah,
making
it's
fucking
true.
edgy content and then you're like, and you have the fan base and like you're getting harpered by like other people that aren't your fan base to be like, to tone it down. Like you either have to completely ignore them or just fucking double and triple down on it and go even harder.
You got to be willing to struggle a little bit. If you really believe in
Exactly.
something, you got to be willing to weather it a little bit, and you'll come out on the other side. It feels a little stressful, but you'll definitely be okay.
Yeah, I mean, look at how many fucking people attacked me over a fucking Twitter account. I'm not fucking, I never caved
Yeah.
in. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, people will
Yeah.
complain and stuff. I say, go fucking suck my cock, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, you're not the
I
one
almost said
making the
word
L's.
I'm
You're
not
just
allowed to say
posting
on
them.
YouTube.
They're the
But
ones posting their own damn L's.
But I think- I
in
don't know.
terms
I
of
think that there is. Oh, go ahead, Lev. Go ahead.
And I'm just curious, in terms of mental health, it's very funny how many people today love talking about the subject of mental health and how important it is to see a psychiatrist and all that, while at the same time,
Shit,
I don't
that's
think
the
there's
last
ever been a
thing I'd
time when
do.
people have been as screwed up as they are today.
Yep.
And they love talking about this mental health thing so much. And I do like this meme for that exact reason of like, men would rather fill in the blank than go to a psychotherapist.
Yeah,
So-
let's go
Invade
fishing,
Carthage.
boys. Let's go
Exactly.
fishing, and none of us say a goddamn word to one another for 9 to 10 hours and have the best time of our life.
Men will literally do stuff to other people in Minecraft without going to therapy.
Yeah, let's go commit war crimes in Minecraft.
in Roblox. No, I think what's very interesting is that there is sort of let's call it a
What if we
selective
kissed
enforcement. What
Minecraft.
what if we kissed underneath the work will set you free sign? No, I'm kidding. Damn.
Gio again.
Anyways,
Oh,
again.
shit.
Well,
Take a piss.
Yeah, it's a good time. There- there seems to be a selective enforcement of the rules in terms of certain people being treated as quote unquote toxic or bad actors.
Oh God, yeah. Like
Um,
there's the YouTube in particular. Like you look at stuff like a Kevin Hart or somebody like that would say, and then you compare that with Turkey Tom, and nobody should ever be able to talk shit about Turkey Tom ever again.
It's all
Ever
about
again.
aesthetics at the end of the day. It's all a
Yeah.
very like visual thing. It's kind of what it comes down to.
But I was watching the podcast you did with was it Keemstar? Yes. It was you, the Oreo Man, Keemstar, the Oreo Man.
Yeah.
Where you were talking about sort of like the behind the scenes, how really it's, to me, it's in this particular YouTuber, it's really sort of, well, actually there was two of them in a cabal. It's really quite disgusting how the way that they launder influence over the YouTube landscape. You would figure that creators would have this sort of sense of omerta amongst each other, but really, I mean, to the point of feeding information to like total bad faith journalists like this Taylor Lawrence ghoul.
Yeah, you should
that is-
always troll your journalists if they
Yeah,
ask for information.
Never talk to them.
No,
Never,
if they
ever,
ask for
ever.
information,
Except
make sure you-
Catherine Brodsky.
make
could
sure
talk
you
to her.
Well,
give
we've
them
had journalists on the
information,
show, but you know.
but it's information that is so upsetting and is designed in a way to plug yourself and
But
to
it
make them look
seems-
bad.
It seems that like in wrestling, how you stab people in the back and sort of you climb the ladder and you like pull up the ladder behind you. It seems that this certain creator, I think you know who I'm talking about, literally is just pulling the ladder up behind him for other people to come up and dethrone him, and doing this
Yeah.
in such a backhanded way. Do you feel that this whole appeal to the solidarity of creators within the quote unquote commentary community, that's just a cynical game, and that really at the end of the day, these people, they can't even enforce rules among themselves? I mean, it's kind of obvious, but from
Yeah,
your
I think
experience,
most people in the commentary community who last long, there is a toxicity to them, but there's also like a realness where you feel like they're a real human. I think the ones that only last for a short amount of time, both character shot, whatever that word, they make like bastards of themselves, right? And basically act like characters. And the other thing is, I think a lot of them basically who climb over each other have a very short shelf life. Because you climb over one person, there's a guy waiting behind you to hop right over. So I think a big part of it is like, I think if you do end up just getting by on fucking other people over, eventually someone's gonna come along and fuck you. It's funny you mentioned journalists. The other day I had a call with a pretty big YouTuber, and we were talking, and I'm not gonna say who it is, but at one point we were like in the call, and they were like, yeah, we're like what, an hour and 15 minutes into this call, and I was like, wait. How do you know? Like, I didn't say it to them, but I was thinking, like, how do they know exactly how long the call has been? And then I was like, oh shit, they're recording.
Oh,
like they
fuck.
totally are looking at a timestamp. And nothing bad happened. I think they were just doing it for insurance, but I'm pretty positive they were recording. And that's another thing. It's like, with commentators, I think people are kind of expecting that, I or someone else is gonna say one thing publicly and would say another privately. And I think some of them almost think that they're gonna perform like a gotcha. And definitely there are some dishonest people, but I think we're kind of getting to the point where a lot of those are weeded out for now. In 2 years, we'll have another weeding out. We got to pull them out of the fucking ground with your gloves on. But yeah, I guess long answer to your short, simple question.
Personally, I think that the end of this year is going to see an absolutely massive weeding out of different people, different communities. Just people have been saying some shit lately.
You think it's they're gonna bring out the lawnmowers and that the weeds are gonna get?
I hope.
Yeah, I've gotten some weird.
There's been some weird things that some people.
To
not
one
gonna
said
person
me
in the chat,
recently.
yes, we are a
Grass.
budget version of InfoWars. Yes.
I had look while we're being Infowars. I don't mean to keep talking about my shit right now.
BreakTheRules.com.
This will be a poor tangent.
.tv actually. BreakTheRules.tv.
They're
Subscribe.
donating super chats
Subscribe.
to Lev so he can transition.
We got the documents.
Stop it.
We got the photographs.
Well,
Turkey
well,
Tom
speaking-
live.
speaking-
They're putting
of,
subliminal messages in the
Tom over on
Minecraft
YouTube.
videos to.
Well, speaking of the Oreo Man, we summoned him. Nicholas Diorio
Yeah.
is in the chat. Thank you.
I don't think
I
that's
feel-
him. I think that's fake. I think that's.
Oh, that's
ac-
fake.
Oh, actually, no.
I
To
can't
the point that you were talking
Hmm.
about, back in 2016, there was a very famous YouTuber who's a producer, director, whatever you want to call it, I met, and as we were walking around Union Square, we were talking about his plan. This is in 2016 to make a lot of these reaction communities on YouTube that would dunk on whatever famous people, make commentary videos about them. But this guy, I ended up finding out that he was associated with the Russian government, that like he had people who he knew, and it's like, it's so fucked up. Like, I wonder how many people who you know and love
That
or
are
hate
getting
who are
money.
on who are on Twitch, who are very famous, who may have parents living in Middle Eastern countries associated with the governments of those countries.
Well,
you know what I mean?
We all know that from my circles, we all know that in the dissident right, glow in the darks, I mean, they're pretty much a common occurrence. I mean,
So
you can kind of see which ones are glowies and which ones are not. But
what
it seems that
is-
YouTube is also being invaded by glow in the darks of another kind.
What is more upsetting to you guys? The idea of a lone individual who is well motivated and ready to do stuff just on their own, just for the love of the game, just because they love talking shit and being wild and making people laugh, or somebody who's sponsored, who's got state funding behind them, who has some sort of ideology that they're trying to push? What's scarier?
That's a great question.
I've completely
That's an
broken
excellent
the chat.
question. I can't really answer, but
Yeah.
I mean,
What's
great question.
scarier? Just some weird hillbilly masked bastard, or some ideologically motivated guy?
But I think also it's like, I think Noah is correct in that the creators themselves, they're unwilling to take risks, but also they're willing to sort of collectively shun people that stray from the
This is
party line.
This is
But
what I
the
wanted to hit on
fans too-
directly too. Is I legitimately had a call with a big streamer the other night, and I shit you not, the dude said to me, because I was talking about all this shit that happened before and how I was like, this wasn't handled right. You know that there's still a little bit more about this, and he was like, "Listen, everybody's all on the same page now." And I was like, what are you fucking talking?
I know
was like,
exactly
"Do
what
you
you're
think this
talking
should-"
about too,
Yeah.
and it kind of sucks. I can't say it, but
Yeah,
it is
no,
what
no,
it is.
Are they
You
even
know
in
exactly
the
what I'm
same
talking
book?
about.
I don't even know
I
if they're in
do.
the same book. Are you in the
And it-
same library?
It was like, people are just, what I'm saying is people will create their own little network of enforcers around any subject, around any narrative.
They'll probably survive through it too. That person
will.
who, I know what they're talking about. I think I know who you're
will.
talking to, but I think they'll definitely persevere, because whether they're whether it's like a collective thing or whether they just make it kind of shyly go away and ignore it. At the end of the day, people will forgive a YouTuber for pretty much anything if they make a funny video. So,
That's very
yeah.
true.
Yep, it sucks, but it is what it is. I mean, there is a comfort to it, because it's like, despite how much of like a weird, like degenerate N-word sayer I am, I can still make videos and be okay. But at the same time, it also means that some
Wait,
some
you
really
said
freaky,
nerd?
depraved, some freaky, depraved people can also exist on YouTube with millions of followers and be terrible.
But
and
I think
like
it's also
I look at them
Quite
and
a
it makes my
few of
fucking
them
skin
can.
crawl.
quite a few of them.
A
Actually.
lot.
But
I know
even-
like
even
5. I hate it. I hate it.
Well, it is funny though. There is like that reality that behind the scenes, these people are probably like soliciting different things, and there's different influences. But do you think that even the fans themselves, I mean, can you call them fans? Let's call them stans. It seems that the capacity for people to not just forgive, but to form a sort of blind parasocial relationship with people. I had a tweet the other week, and I had to lock my account for a little bit, criticizing the 1-star couple of YouTube, and it was kind of like a very flippantly verbose tweet. Lev, can you pull up the tweet, by the way?
It's about
you gotta-
iDubbbz, isn't
Jamie,
it?
can you
It
pull
was
that up
about
quick?
iDubbbz. Yes,
Yeah,
it was about iDubbbz.
Gio, I'm not Jamie. I don't have the ability to find
I'll
these things. You
find
gotta
it,
do. You gotta do this
but
in advance.
I had this purposefully verbose tweet criticizing their trashy wedding
If
photo.
only I had Tom here,
And-
man.
I mean, the
And-
thing is,
Pull some
you say
stuff
that,
up.
but I feel like it's not a new phenomenon. I'm
No,
pretty
it's not.
young, but
It's not.
I'm not so young that I can't know that, like, this has been going on with like musicians and actors forever. People will forgive anything if they make an entertaining thing. If they think they know the person, they'll forgive them, like through their like brain. They'll be like, oh, I totally understand them, and like I know what they were like going through when they did this degenerate thing. And it's like, okay,
Those parasocial relationships, bruh.
Speaking
yeah,
of
I
people
have
who have a
lost.
creepy
The thing is, you can
following-
like art, like you can enjoy art without liking the person who made it. But this is like a
Right.
completely different thing. Like people either have to delude themselves into like defending some terrible person because they make the funny thing, or someone does something terrible and they're like, oh, well, they were never funny anyway, and I fucking hated them. It's like, God damn it, bro.
I'm
mean,
better
Tell
than
me what you
them
really
somehow.
think. tell me
I
what
mean,
you really
did
think.
iDubbbz
Like a
really
certain
do
person in
anything
the chat, I'm
that
better than
bad? I
them
feel like it's
somehow.
just trashy. And
Yeah,
really
I am
iDubbbz,
It's not even
I'm not
him, it's
talking
his
about
lady.
iDubbbz.
Fucking loser. I
She's
literally
out there
Guys,
put
taking
the
guys,
play
pictures.
This
We got
the thing is, this has
Brittany
nothing
Venti.
to do with iDubbbz. iDubbbz, I made a video basically defending him. I don't think he
Yeah.
did anything that wrong. You know, his girlfriend's a slut. It's whatever. I really don't care.
Yeah, he gave me
it
the
doesn't really
green
matter.
light. He's looked in a camera and said, "You guys can make jokes," which means fucking A. I'm gonna make all the goddamn jokes in the world.
Yeah, I don't
son.
think he cares about the
Woo!
jokes. I think the thing that bothered him was like there were people who were like, "Oh, I'm going to stop watching your videos now because of this." And it's like, you know, if his videos were all about like him and his girlfriend and like how they like to, you know, whatever, do this like cuck shit, like I would get it. But like he's not doing that. He just makes
Yeah,
like
but
videos about other stuff.
But
you
at
know?
the same
Like,
time, I think my problem is that he sort of laundered an authenticity from Chan culture in some ways, from that sort of edgier side of the internet. And then as soon as it became more advantageous, he all of a sudden dropped that pastiche of being this
what I will
edgy
say,
content creator, right? You
what
know
I
what
will
mean?
say is I think he's still edgy.
Like
but
the,
I
but
think
the
that
fucking mask video for recently, like that was, I think, the solidification of him being like, well, I'm kind of going the way of my friend Ethan right now. So
I haven't
what
seen
are-
any
what-
of his recent stuff. What I will say is I think there was a time when there was that very edgy culture, and I think
Right,
iDubbbz
right.
probably still finds really edgy jokes funny, and he'll still probably put them on his channel. But he cultivated an audience who enjoyed edgy jokes. You know, they enjoyed his kind of sense of humor, and they also had a bunch of beliefs with him that he didn't necessarily agree with, right? So I think that's the disconnect. It's like,
right.
you know, a lot of these YouTubers, like Ethan Klein went through this too. He kind of had like a little tism about it. It's like he makes these edgy videos. He makes videos owning feminists. He makes videos dunking on retards
But
and
then
whatever.
he went a 180 and then, you know.
Well, he basically did a 180 because I think he realized like a bunch of his audience were like more far right than he anticipated ever, and he had to kind of live with the consequences of his actions at that point. And I think, yeah. I mean, that's all I can really say about
love the
that.
far
Or some break
right.
the
They
rules. We
wanna
don't care
be
if we have a far
entertained.
right
Come on board,
Exactly.
fellas. Let's have
We're here
some
for everybody.
laughs.
By the
Let's
way,
talk
we have
about
Brittany.
Oh, we have
Brittany
Brittany
Venti
finally, our
Speaking of
queen.
in the
far right.
house.
Speaking of far right.
I
What?
was about to make that joke too, but I'm like, I'll refrain.
Welcome,
That's
Brittany.
my whole
Everybody,
thing
by the
is,
way, everybody
no
subscribe.
refrain.
Everybody subscribe for Brittany
Patreon.
being here. Patreon.com/break the rules. You're gonna
Buy
see
a
all the links.
t-shirt.
Yes, buy James's t-shirt.
Buy my fucking t-shirts at griff.shop.
Exactly.
They're almost gone. It's pop-up
Almost.
only.
By the way, Brittany, do you like my turkey background? For those who don't know what's
let
going
me
on,
Pull up the gobbler. Show your turkey.
For those. Okay, yeah, I gotta show. So this is my friend Turkey. No, Tom Turkey, not Turkey Tom. This is Tom Turkey over here. He's my good friend. He's got the ruffles over here. He's got the stick, which I
I'm gonna
used
get
to
my good
carry him
friend real quick.
around. And over here, by the way, the background, you can see what's going on. There's two male turkeys that are fighting over the female. If you could see, that's what's going on in the background over here. So there we are.
Oh, is
And,
that some symbolism? Did I walk into something I didn't expect?
Absolutely,
Perhaps.
you did. Yeah.
That could
Everybody
be.
joins break
He's
the
a
rules,
size,
not knowing
he's a
what
size
it is.
king.
He's a,
We got my
Turkey.
good far right friend Pepe in the chat now.
I think
good,
my least favorite Pappy is the original one. I kind of like have
You prefer Apu or the Groiper?
I prefer Apu.
Or all these
Yeah,
other
Apu-
weird
Apu's
ones.
base,
A certain someone ruined the Grapers for me, but the Apu one is.
What about you, Brittany? Which Pepe do you like the best?
You like the Brittany Venti Pepe?
I don't know. I feel like this is a cringy question.
It's very cringy. Brittany,
yeah,
were
you're on break
talking
the rules.
about-
What else are you expecting other than cringe?
We were
It's
talking
just
about
cringe.
the commentary community, and as someone who has been in a lot of ways sort of quite infamously at the center of many controversies, what do you think of and we've asked this before, but the direction of YouTube, but also what do you think of your fellow how shall I say, outsider creators that are on the show right now with you, Noah and Turkey Tom and so forth? Are you a fan of Noah, Hugbox, and Turkey Tom? And also, I know you're a fan of women posting L's, James.
That's
over
right.
here.
Everybody
But,
loves memes.
I haven't seen Hugbox's stuff. I don't think.
Nobody
maybe
has.
Maybe I did, but I didn't know who it was. Turkey Tom. I watched a few of his videos. Some of the more recent ones, and they were pretty solid. They were pretty good. I would
Yeah,
say.
you know, Brittany, I'm glad you're on the stream. I think some people are probably going to bring up in chat that once upon a time on Twitter, I called you Stinky Venti. I'll have you know that I don't know if I completely stand by that.
Yeah,
But
well,
you
now
know what? I
I
did
feel
say
like,
it, and I don't regret it. So that's all. there is to it.
Uh-oh, stinky.
No, that'll be playing in my head.
yeah.
You know, my
whole
friend
stream
actually
now.
made that uh-oh stinky video.
Is that real?
way.
Yeah, my friend Eric made that video, which was like wild to me.
They were the stinky guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
They were
Was he the
stinky.
James, you're always
original
talking
voice
about
or
merch. You're always talking about merch. Did you get the new High Drop merch?
I did. I bought some yesterday. I dropped like fucking over 125 bucks.
Yeah, I bought 2 shirts. The fucking the like Joker one is so stupid.
But
I know,
Brittany, I
yeah.
was go ahead, James.
Oh no, I was begging him to fucking bring back the Epstein one, but he wouldn't do it. And he was
Oh, you
talking
didn't
about
get that
doing
one?
yeah, he was talking about doing a McAfee one, but I guess he saw my shirt and he was like, yeah, I'm not topping that. So he passed on
The coronavirus one was really good. That one I still
Yeah.
have.
I
I've worn it
always
like
regret
twice.
buying his stuff, not buying it. Because I didn't buy the coronavirus one and I didn't buy the Epstein one.
The
and
Epstein one's the best.
It
Everyone
is.
It's one of those
talks to
things you
right
just
now.
have to
Yeah,
jump on.
That Epstein one is.
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
why I
good
bought
one.
2 shirts and the mug yesterday because I'm like, I wasn't like super crazy about it, but like in hindsight, I really ended up loving the Epstein one. So I feel like that's gonna happen again. So,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
worst
But,
case scenario, they go on eBay for like fucking $300. So,
Well, what would you
They
say
age
the
well.
Epstein one represents? The message of it.
That he did nothing
Well,
wrong.
It's just like funny
Epstein was
streetwear. I
innocent.
mean, that's literally it. It's funny streetwear.
Well, he supported science, and he was, he gave research money to, many.
Epstein
many,
simply
great
loved
people.
pussy. Where that pussy came from should be irrelevant. Okay.
Yeah, he was ready to drop a dime on all the other
He was
billionaires.
he was a procurer of pussy.
Well, let's talk about
Some argue
this.
a pussy man.
Well,
Yeah.
I was reading. I don't know if I should bring this up because it's kind of
You been reading comic books again, Gio?
no. There was this thread recently, quite a popular one, on the Chans about Brittany. And speaking of procuring certain, Jeffrey Epstein, it seems like Brittany, you've garnered, of course, controversy from the usual suspects on the Chans about your recent sort of takes with, how shall I say, the male gaze when it comes to younger women. And I know me and Lev, we were going through the thread. It was just absolutely ridiculous. Some of these, innuendos. I think apparently the wall has gone down to the age of 24 now. I don't know.
Yeah,
deal with
every
that
month
is.
it goes lower 1 year until the predators get their way. That's what it is. It's
Eventually,
like
35-year-old
it's
women are going
edophiles.
to be too young.
Yeah, it's
Gals
edophiles
that are
trying
well
to like
past the wall.
normalize.
It is
That's what
kind
the
of like a
law
very
is.
neotenous sort of thing. But anyways,
And you could say that the same is going on in anime. Like, anime has gotten a lot softer. Like, I remember where they used to have sharper chins in the mid-90s. I was
Do they
speaking
still
to Julie
have
about that earlier.
9,000-year-old vampire girls who look like 13-year-olds? Is that still a
Yeah,
thing
which
in
which
anime?
also helps normalize when they sexualize those characters.
But
it
it
This
also
reminds me
helps
of like
normalize
there was this thread
predators.
from this
I only
guy
wanna
on Twitter
watch-
called what's his name? Respectable Lawyer. You know who he is?
oh god,
He made this thread. He was talking about like how
okay.
Elon Musk is a pedophile for like dating a 30-year-old woman.
I mean, he's just
I was
a
like,
pedophile
bro.
because he's a billionaire and he's super rich. So.
Right, yeah.
I mean, he may be. I don't know. I,
mean,
don't
he's
know anything
from
about
South
Elon
Africa,
Musk,
so
but
right
we
there
all
you
know
go.
when you
You
get
got
that he was-
foreigner.
When you get that rich, like you have to once you get your $1 billion, you have to rape a child. Like unfortunately, that's how it
Jesus,
works.
James, this
James,
is
you
YouTube.
gotta, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Come on now. You can't talk about the billionaires. Those poor billionaires that rape kids.
Well, no, just for OPSEC reasons, but no, it seems Respectable Lawyer is
the stream just
Hey.
instantly disappears. Like the channel is just gone. Never
Oh,
existed.
God.
Twitter
Some
account's
Helicopter
gone.
outside,
But-
actually.
But I think it's
Yeah.
quite interesting though, because we've talked about this to sort of go back to the topic. Like we were talking about just in general, Brittany, the sort of commentary community, but also I guess how people read into and form sort of like these weird connections and towards yourself and other creators. And it seems that there is this like massive amounts of projection going on. If my favorite YouTube personality doesn't say exactly what I want to say, then they're scum. But Brittany, do you, like, people, they often, with your content specifically, they come up against this, no pun intended, this wall of irony. And but I think that you are sincere about this sort of conviction that the way, the lingo in which people are talking about the relationships between the sexes, and this sort of like, for recently on Twitter, there was this big thing about how going on a first date with coffee, or going
yeah,
for
I heard
a walk
about that.
is, yeah. But you generally do think that there's a problem, that in some ways there's sort of like a weird pathology being manifested, that and like there's, I would say, a pulling to the extremes, because on one end you have this like total neoteny and hebephilic sort of like, oh my god, I just want to live in a cabin. What did that viral tweet say? I want to live in a cabin. You're not trad. You just want to live in a cabin and cream pie an 18-year-old. And then on the other, and then on the other end, you have this sort of mommy return to the mother sort of thing, which is in itself another form of infantilization. But it seems that even YouTubers themselves, I mean, who is the Twitch streamer that got banned recently? The Twitch, the
Aiden Ross?
Was she doing the kiddie pool
Oh, no.
streams?
No, different guy. No,
Who's the one that was farting? That was the
Are you talking
funniest
about,
thing in the world
was
to
it the
me.
Fox girl? What's her name?
Yeah,
Farted.
yeah.
Somebody paid her to fart. They were getting off the farts.
But
so they paid her to fart.
That was me.
Oh, stinky.
Oh, but it seems that there is an incentive to do. I mean,
there's
Twitch
gold
likes to
in them there
itself.
hills.
But like Twitch likes to report itself, for example, as this like PC ultra progressive like platform that bans people on a whim. But at the same time, you have creators that are willing to sexualize themselves in very like crazy.
No, but they
ways.
banned that pool girl, didn't they? The girl.
Yeah,
who
but
was
they
in the
had
pool
to
with the,
because.
Gio, I got an interesting tidbit for you that I think that you're gonna enjoy.
Wait. So, do you want? Who should go first? Noah, Brittany.
Yes, let Noah go first.
Okay, Noah, you
said-
go. Sorry.
So I was dragged along to a dinner with like people that work at Twitch one time, like not just people that work, people that kind of not like call the shots, but people like there's like a head mod there and shit like that, right?
Okay.
I was just a face at this dinner, right? But what I overheard at this dinner was fucking hilarious, right? And let me recreate his voice for you right now. This is Twitch's head mod. He was like,
so like the rules like don't really exist. It's so like, well, if we want you gone, you're gone.
I knew it. It's true.
Verbatim. That's what he said. Verbatim. Like I'm not bullshitting
It's
you
real.
right now.
It's all real.
That on top of like the other people that's dinner were like, this is what I find really interesting about Dream actually, is that they were talking at this dinner about like a bunch of the other ideas they had for stuff and just general Twitch
we'll
stuff.
get to
and the
Dream, by the
entire
way.
time they kept bringing it back to like, well, you know, we could guarantee that you'd have the front page of Twitch every day if you created a new Minecraft server. Isn't that interesting? It really makes you think.
Yeah, I think in that way,
That
Twitch is
really-
different from YouTube because I think Twitch is smaller as a website, but also the way that they operate is a lot less like
With an
a
iron fist.
corporation with
Yes.
and who wants to be somewhat consistent and a lot more like a bunch of teenagers, you know.
It's
Well,
a cult.
Yeah, it is.
Well, Brittany, you had experience with getting banned on Twitch. Why do they not like Brittany Venti? What's going
And
on?
also the
I-
sexualization of creators question, Brittany. Oh, go ahead.
So as Hugbox said, I've been saying that for years. If they want you gone, they'll just get rid of you and
Mhm.
pretend it's a valid excuse. For me, I just did what all the other Twitch streamers were doing, had text to speech donations, where the text displays the donation, where the message. I can't. You get what I'm saying? So
It was the
Words are hard.
Keemstar one, if I recall. It was the.
Brittany
know,
having a
is it-
Joe Biden moment there. Well,
well, I just got done having asthma attacks, so like I don't have that much oxygen in my brain. So I had the
I'm
message
always like
pop
that,
up
it's
with
fine.
the text, and then like I know it's already tough enough being a woman. It's like I only have so many brain cells to work with. Anyway,
she gets
um,
it, chat.
Oh, man.
anyway, so basically they banned me for people putting bad words in the message because it's displayed on stream. Everyone else did the same thing. They were displaying messages on stream, and I'm sure they had bad words, but they just didn't like that there was a lot of people from 4chan in my stream, so that was why they banned me initially with the indefinite ban. And then with the other one, it was because I did a satirical bit, so they didn't like that. I was making fun of like, oh, you know, with the YouTube pew pew lady. I don't want to say the trigger words for the algorithm, but
Thank you.
yeah, the lady, if you guys remember. So I made a joke saying like, at least now we have female representation showing that girls can do it too. And then Twitch didn't like that joke, so they like perma banned me.
Oh yes. Well, it's funny. But the second question, do you feel that there still is this like stereotype of the sort of Twitch, like, you know, the Twitch boob streamer that has to sort of infantilize herself by cosplaying as some kind of, I don't know, Lolita anime? I mean, it seems that there's this weird incentive to, especially as a female creator, not to sort of go on a sort of feminist rant, but you have very strong opinions of that. And it's funny because you and Noah, sorry, not you and Noah, you and Turkey Tom have also gone after the darling of Twitch, and you've made a powerful enemy in her. So you know
The
who I'm
soulless
talking
one.
about. Yes, the soulless one. Yes.
You're talking about Pokey?
I'm talking about Pokimane, yes.
Yeah.
But what do you think, Brittany, as someone who is very, I would say, how shall I put this? You're very proud and you're very respectful of your own sense of femininity. And so for creators to, I would say, lower themselves by doing this just for donos, I mean, what do you think of that? Not to like ask a totally guiding question, but you know.
I think that Twitch should stop allowing it because there's literally like the statistics, something like 70% of their users are underage. So literally you have kids watching this stuff and it leads them into watching porn because it's softcore porn. What's going on at this point? It didn't used to be this bad. It's just gotten progressively worse. There's definitely an incentive on Twitch and generally, you know, with OnlyFans girls too. And there's a lot of OnlyFans girls that are on Twitch as well. And there's a lot of pressure, especially from a lot of viewers where they pressure women into making OnlyFans constantly.
Oh,
she dropped. We had this problem before.
They got her. Pokey got her.
They got it. Oh! Well, what do you think, Turkey Tom? I mean, you've done quite a few videos. Not just on Pokemon, but also, I guess, on streamers that have done these sort of there's sort of like this incentive treadmill to act out in certain ways. Like what do you think in general, especially of like female creators? Then I want to get into this whole the whole what's that, the Minecraft streamer Dream, but yeah, go ahead while we're waiting for Brittany to come back in.
Yeah, I think Twitch more than anything is more of a maybe not more than anything, more than YouTube is very much a social climb, because whereas YouTube, I think like a shout out on YouTube doesn't do that much. Like I've gotten shout outs from pretty big people before, and at most I'll get like, I think the most I got was like 5,000 subscribers. But on Twitch, I mean, it's good, but when I had like 100,000, like it didn't make a huge deal to me. It was like, okay, this is nice.
Yeah.
But it was like a nice
5,000 from a shout out still seems like a lot. Like even if you
it's
have
good, but it's not like a career maker, you know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Whereas
Yeah,
on Twitch, you know, I don't know if you guys know what Raj Royale is, the Raj show. Basically, it's like this dating show, and so many people have made their careers off of that show. Basically, there was this one streamer, this female streamer named Katerino, who made her career off of that and broke her career off of that within like 1 month. She was someone who, there was like this whole meme about, she was like sleeping with 8 guys. But basically she blew up from getting on stream with, I believe it was Call Me Carson first. And she was kind of like, she was kind of leading him on a little bit. And then she was like talking to these other people, and she also had a boyfriend at the same time. And I think she ended up like sleeping with 2 people at once, and then like sending 2 people like pictures of herself at once and like leading them on kind of. And she kind of got her career made and destroyed by that one stream. I mean, she to this day has like 100,000 followers on Twitter. Before then, nobody knew who the fuck she was. And so the thing about Twitch is people convey their entire personalities through one stream, and they blow the fuck up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah, the shout out culture is huge. With YouTube, it's a lot harder to grow from one shout out. Yeah.
So Tom, if we decide,
oh, sorry,
go ahead. Okay.
Noah. I was gonna say, what's really funny is I was there for this entire situation because I lived in that house, right?
Oh my! You lived in an influencer house?
I lived in a house with Carson.
He lived in the polycule, bro.
Right?
Yeah, the reason I brought it up is because I wanted you to talk about it. I wanted the tea.
I was there the whole time. And you know what happened to good old Noah when he was like, hey, this doesn't seem like a good situation. I can kind of pick up on in fact, it was the day that he met her. I said, I can kind of pick up on what's going on here. I don't think this is a good idea for you.
So you
know what
lived
happened?
with this woman, Noah?
No, I didn't live with her. I
You
lived
lived
with
with
Carson.
The thing is, on that stream, I remember Greek was talking, and he was like, yo, this girl's been around. You want to stay away from her? Carson was like, no.
This is what I said. Verbatim.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I
Zoe
kept it
Quinn
gentle.
moment. That's true with chat. Yes.
I kept it gentle. I was like, listen, I think you're getting yourself in a little bit over your head here. I was like, I think she's a bit of a flirt. You know what happened? Not allowed on my own podcast. Nobody talks to me. Noah's misogynistic.
Based.
Oh.
True story.
And here we are.
And
like a
here
month
we
after
are.
that, Carson made his
And
post on Reddit.
All the
etc.
people who knew, the funny thing is that there's more to that. All the people who knew, including me, right? That what was really going on, which what the whole Kate thing is like nothing to me compared to the rest of that situation, right?
Yeah.
When everybody knew what was really going on, they kept gunning on her the entire time, and I thought that was fucking ridiculous. And then they just pretended they didn't know. Afterward, nobody talked about that.
But you were saying
really
this
interesting.
woman, she was almost in some ways pressured to do these lurid acts just for the sake of clout, or
I don't think she was pressured. I think she did it of her own volition.
Right,
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I agree with that.
But Brittany,
She basically knew that she could flirt a little bit to get a little higher, and she did it. And I don't hate her for it. I don't think she's a terrible person for it. I think she just kind of took the easy way up that so many people have done, and she ended up getting fucked for it.
really a Helen of Troy moment, I guess you could say. But Brittany, you got
That's an interesting way to put that.
That's true. Well, someone brought up Zoe Quinn in the chat. Brittany, you finish your thought. Your computer got down, or the glowies.
Yeah, sorry, it froze, and I don't know how long I was talking before it froze. But basically, I think that overall, it's really shitty on Twitch that they allow softcore porn, because the majority of their viewers, last time I checked, are underage. If you look up the statistic for that, and it's basically incentivizing women to prostitute themselves and sell themselves. And it's to the more literal sense now, because they're literally shoving microphones up their ass and farting for 5 bits. And basically they're commodifying women and helping women be devalued and sending the message that your only body as a woman, it is your greatest worth, and that's why you should protect it. But they're saying oh, well, your brain basically never matters, and
You're only as good as your farts can stink. So
yeah,
simple as.
exactly.
Braps.
And
You
it's
smell that? Neither do I. Start farting, bitch.
And it's making men addicted to porn. It's giving them the gateway, because it's softcore porn on Twitch. So it's going to make little boys grow up jerking it, grow up porn, and then they become porn addicted, and then they're going to have literal brain damage from being addicted, because it causes chemical changes to your brain. It's the same reason why gambling is a real addiction, and gambling, funnily enough, is one of the hardest ones to recover from. So
I mean, this is
similar
the whole
concept,
plan.
how serious it is.
This is exactly what they want to do. They know what they're doing, and that's the whole goal all along.
Yeah.
For Eva, yes, I
and
do watch Raw Time.
Ladies and jerks, I've been tagged in by Masked Bastard. He's no
Oh,
longer
hello,
with us.
Haynes.
How are you, Gio? Buenas noches, todo lo gente hablando aquí.
One masked retard for another.
Yeah, listen, masked bastards and masked trash from sea to shining sea. We're everywhere. I'd like to chime in. I'm wondering if we're ever going to get a remake of the "This Is Your Brain on Drugs" commercial, but there'll be infographics where it's "This is your brain on porn."
This is your brain on Twitch.
Because unless you can provide something mildly over the top, but still grounded in hey, this is what a normal dopamine receptor looks like. No, this is not chopped liver. This is the dopamine receptor of a man who's been watching porn since he was 12.
And speaking of chopped liver, this is chopped steak over here. Take a look at this beauty.
Hey,
That is the beauty right there.
Buen provecho.
But,
Lev, Lev, I like how when you held up the salad earlier, you gave a nice intimate wink into the camera. Like, I know you're watching. You could take a picture if you'd like.
Oh God. Well, Lev can become a mukbang streamer, and he could live out his dream of.
Well, that's the other
Niccolo
question.
Avocado.
That's the other question that I. Oh God. Okay, that's the other question that I wanted to get to here.
If you've ever read the Kafka story, The Hunger Artist, Niccolo Avocado, he's the opposite of, he's the reverse of the Hunger Artist. He is the making himself morbidly, and listen, I'm morbidly obese, but
Gio, the difference between Gio, the difference between the difference between you and Avocado is that you eat with your mouth.
Oh, that's very true.
But here's the thing, Gio, hear me out. This is something I'd like to get your opinion on. All right, now, what is it about indignant obese women that use labels like I'm curvy, I'm a BBW? There's no male equivalent of a BBW. There aren't dudes who weigh 500 pounds and they're like, I'm a strong, large, handsome man. It's like,
the equivalent, I guess, would be portly or big boned, but that's applies to all fat people.
How come fat men, outside of wearing muumuus and capes and jumpsuits, they don't have the plethora of high waist clothing fat ladies can wear to hide the folds of undulating blubber? So it's like So it's this weird out of sight, out of mind, self-deception precedes deceiving others.
Well, that's why we wear Hawaiian shirts, because it's something. It's the only thing in a bigger size that has a bit of flair to it. But
what if the term size king is reclaimed?
Ooh,
by the rightful holder of the mantle.
But I wanted to get Noah and Brittany's back. I wanted to get Turkey Tom and Noah's thoughts on what Brittany said. And Stain Haynes is correct, and I agree with Brittany. I think that there is sort of like this compulsion to. There was this one OnlyFans girl, our good friend 0HP Lovecraft brings it up. This one OnlyFans girl said that it was literally like I wasn't in possession of my own body when I'm doing this. But I mean, Turkey Tom, you've covered people of this, the whole.
I mean, I talk about it, but the idea that I is like I'm turning 19. The idea that I as like a 19-year-old should give like life advice for people, like I don't fucking know, dude.
True.
Jerk off. Jerk off to whatever you want. I'm not gonna make prescriptions about experiences I don't really know about. So yeah, I don't fucking know. I mean, if you want to make an OnlyFans, make an OnlyFans. I think it could be bad for your life later on, but I don't know. I haven't lived it, so who fucking knows?
I think you really can't. No, I was just gonna say quickly that I think it's true. You really can't. And I didn't say this. It was the singer for Liturgy that said. She said that. You really can't form a coherent worldview by the age of 25. I think that's kind of.
I can talk about YouTube drama all I want. I can talk about like gay Discord servers and the Shroom Jack. Okay, I'll talk about cringy Minecraft stands. But when it comes to like life prescriptions, like I'm not the most functional person. I have like a partially dysfunctional life, so I'm not gonna try to like say like don't do that. Like, I don't fucking know.
How old were the founding fathers when they? Sorry about this cheek. How old were the founding fathers when they signed the Declaration of Independence?
I don't fucking know.
Not legally old enough to say dad jokes in public without women pretending they like them. Like, comment behind their back.
They probably weren't like 18. So
no, Jefferson I think was in his 40s when he signed the.
They were in like their late.
He was
30s,
already.
I think.
Jefferson was already like a general and shit. He had life experience, dude. I still live with my fucking parents. I don't know shit. I don't know shit. I spend my time on my PSP, my Xbox. I spend my time playing like Dusk. I don't fucking know.
No, but good on you. Good on you though, man. Like good on you, because if you're willing to say you hardly ever see people who have a platform or an audience give a disclaimer and go like, you shouldn't be coming to me for socio-political perspectives, even though people look for socio-political perspectives from like fucking Cardi B
this is the thing, like when you're a YouTuber, like I feel like people feel that you need to like talk about politics and give this prescription. Like my only policy is like I want to say the N-word and eat pizza. I don't like there's nothing else to me, I don't have anything else to say.
Well, that was the thing with Dream, but Noah, you had something to say, then we'll go back to Brittany and then where's James's.
I'm gonna hit two things real quick. I was gonna say, for me, what I've always said is I've always given the disclaimer is that I don't even consider myself a YouTuber or anything. I'm literally just some fucking guy. You know what I mean? So it's like,
That's true.
bear in mind, you're taking the opinion of some fucking dude that you don't know. But two, the thing with the OnlyFans and the porn and all that sort of shit, right? I'm going to be genuinely honest right now. I don't understand why people find it so hard to just have sex.
Well, there's a lot of social pressures. There's a lot of barriers.
I mean, that I
can
can talk about. I think a lot of guys now, especially like in my demographic, have a hard time talking to girls, or have a hard time, being social with women. I think that there's especially like the more time you spend on like Discord and like 4chan, it's not going to contribute to your ability to speak to girls.
That's what I was going to say, is that it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
Well, that
there,
and
where
there's
it's
a lot
like,
of taboos and rules.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is like, I think a big part of it is like, there are people who genuinely believe OnlyFans is bad, and then there are also people who can't get a girlfriend, can't fuck, and so they kind of channel that into like, oh, the reason why all women are like whores or whatever. And it's like,
Well,
if in the real world, when I went to high school and shit like that, and like I'm in college now, not that many girls are like that. Like not that many. Like the people that do that are usually like kind of weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've struggled for years but James, I want to hear your perspective. Someone who has been called incel so many times it might as well be your middle name.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. I mean, one, it's funny how much people call me incel, despite I'm not going into my sexual history, but it's way more.
He's had a lot of very prolific male influencers. No, never mind.
Yeah. James confirmed to eat more pussy than cervical cancer.
Oh no!
I was just about to say, going
ahead.
off of what Tom was saying about people his age, having trouble talking to girls and whatnot. You guys have never grew up in an age without dating apps. I mean,
that's very true.
Dating apps like was the start of the end for like modern dating and ruining that. And then like now you have OnlyFans just making it worse, where it's like, yeah, these dating apps are good if you want to just fuck, but like it's like killed a lot of relationships. And I mean, like it almost feels like that was like an intentional part of
I agree.
the psyop of them.
That's what I mean. It's like, I don't understand why it's so
Kashuda
hard
talks
for
about
people
this.
to just go fucking talk to somebody. It's not that hard.
And Super Iron Bob says that OnlyFans, this is for $5 Thank you so much for the super chat.
Oh, by the
way, keep sneaking those super chats. We're not going to say them all now. We're going to say them at the end. But this one is about this subject.
Oh, you read that comment on the last video.
Yes, I did. I read a lot of comments, Gio. Anyway, OnlyFans is a product of a society that didn't engage young men, so that they participated, leaving young women to fend for themselves.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. So like as I was saying, the social norms now are ruined because of dating apps, where it's like it's like almost like frowned upon, and it's like it's supposed to come off as weird if you just like start talking to a random girl like at a coffee shop or a bookstore or something like that. Like the only place out in public where it's really like quote unquote normal to do that is like picking up at a bar at that point.
Is it though? I feel like it's not.
Well,
but I start conversations with people all the time.
Listen, we have
society
one
is
woman...
like engineered as like a obviously it's going to vary from person to person and whatnot.
Depends where you are as well.
And the location as well. But like that's kind of like what the social norms have turned to now. Especially in a place like New York City, where it's just like you have crazies just coming up to you all the time. So it's like, if someone's going to come up to you at like a bookstore or a coffee shop, like most of the time it's like, what the fuck do you want from me?
Yeah, literally, I flinch when men come near me now because I've been like attacked so much by men at this point. Like a guy groped me, and then the same week a guy tried to punch me. Like he threw the punch and I dodged it, and then he ran away.
But what if they're dressed? But what if they're dressed differently? Like what if they're nicely dressed or like neatly dressed? Like is there a certain threshold where you could say, okay, like they're not gonna be crazy?
I mean, the physiognomy check in general is definitely.
I was gonna say, I think you can tell if somebody's a
attitude,
fucking loser. Like I think that you can tell.
Yeah, I
To a
think
greater or
it's
lesser
common
degree.
sense. I think it's common sense.
But what do you think? Yeah, go ahead. Brittany, go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to touch on the porn thing. So I'm not gonna throw my hands and be like, oh, don't listen to me, because like I actually am passionate about this topic, and you can hold me accountable to what I say, because I'm very firm that I'm correct in this, based on what I've seen. So I think that generally prostitution, when I say prostitution, I'm using the politically incorrect version of sex work.
Not sex work.
It's called prostitution. So we shouldn't continue to normalize it by calling it sex work. But anyway, I think it's self-harm And an example of that is, I don't know if the camera will really catch that, but what it says is Russian porn star and OnlyFans mom 9 falls to her death from 22nd story apartment after telling friends she was lonely and wanted to start a family. So clearly this profession, they want to call it, it's violation of human rights, in my opinion, and sexual slavery, but clearly it causes mental issues and long-term effects. And it's the same thing with normal prostitution, like original prostitution, where you were having sex with men on the streets. There's data for that showing the effects it had on their mental health, and they would get depression and PTSD, and some girls would unalive themselves. So there's no reason why OnlyFans wouldn't also have the same effect. Yes, there's less of a risk factor physically in terms of a guy assaulting you, but all of the mental anguish is still there. You have thousands of guys literally in your DMs treating you like you're an object, to the point of, so when I say that, it probably doesn't register for some people what that actually means. So what that actually means is like men being like, please, I want to see you roll around in turds and drink piss for $20, and like just disgusting requests in general. Obviously they can accept or deny, but women get pressured into doing more and more extreme acts on OnlyFans. So it only gets worse and worse, just like with porn addiction. That's why people become predators. Because you need more and more. You need a harder and harder hit.
I completely agree with Brittany, where I think that the problem is really the dudes, where it's like I've had these conversations with my friends before. I'm like, also, I feel like it's kind of common sense. I don't know if this is an already established sort of thing, but I think that it's kind of apparent that the field of sex work is going to naturally have a lot of traumatized people that have been fucked up in their lives.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like, and it's like, you
I
want to
think
be
everyone
fucking
here has been traumatized already from YouTube, right? Alone dealing with people. So imagine like you're putting your asshole on display, how people react to that and what they say to you.
And it's like, what kind of sick motherfucker is like, yeah, I want to beat my dick to this traumatized person debasing themselves. It's just so fucking weird to me.
And
it's
it
like,
gets more extreme as well. There is
but not everyone is that forward thinking, and like, you know, like they see booba and then hard on, gotta jerk it, clean up, and like that's that. I think only 1 out of 100 people are like, you know, this mildly Eastern European woman who looks like she's been crying all morning is in an exploitive position. I'm not going to jerk off.
She has weird bruises on her.
And that's why we have wars.
Right. She keeps looking like not at the camera, but near the camera and flinching at any loud noise. So I'm going to jerk off to someone in a professional studio. Like only 1 out of 100 people come to that conclusion.
But
it's really sad. It's really sad that some women, they will be manipulated into this and memed into this, brainwashed into this. Literally, there are women. So for perspective, there are YouTubers, female YouTubers, literally sex trafficking. By definition, it's sex trafficking because it is a publicly available video for all ages. Kids can click it and they're putting their OnlyFans link. And they're talking about how they do their job in terms of selling their body. It's literally
Brittany,
sex trafficking.
What do you think of people have come at you recently? And I 100% agree with you and Noah. And I guess this is a provocative question, but of course we're on Break the Rules, so I feel obliged to ask this. There have been people that have insinuated that your hardcore stance against pornography, that it's like some kind of like, I don't know, lizard brain, inter-female sexual competition thing where OnlyFans lowers the sort of the quote unquote sexual market value of other women, and that women feel threatened by it, so that's why they feel a lot of these cum brains, they have these very sophisticated evolutionary psychology explanations as to why a woman would find this, you know, these realities disgusting. But what would you say to that people say that, oh, Brittany, you know, she's offended because now people don't find her as attractive compared to some OnlyFans e-girl? I think it's a stupid, but just for the sake of journalistic integrity, quote unquote, not that that's a thing anymore. What would you say to like people that are accusing you and other people of who are sort of going back to a more 80s style of radical feminism against pornography? They say that you were just like doing this weird female sexual competition sort of thing. I don't know.
Wow, I guess me being just jealous sure does counter all of the statistics for the brain damage that it causes, or the marriages that it messes up, or the fact that It ruins intimacy. It's basically porn is a war on romance, in my opinion. And
Oh, absolutely.
Wow, that's
Um,
good.
I'd
so
go
I
as far as
just-
to say the dating apps are that too.
At least with dating apps, you have a chance at finding some intimacy, but then other people abuse it in the wrong way, and they're just using it to devalue intimacy by
Yeah, but
easily
it's like
getting.
it's a gotcha with like the worst
casual
fucking
sex.
roll rates of all time. Like,
I feel like
even,
it's like
actual-
McDonald's, right? Where it's like it's nice that you can pick up a cheeseburger. You know what I mean? When you need food, but at the same
think
time,
this-
it's like a lot of people are
No,
incapable
but-
of stopping
but-
picking up
but-
the cheeseburger.
I
Listen,
know that feeling.
online, well, it kind of is like. Listen, it kind of is like if you're fucked up and you're hammered and you go to McDonald's and you see how nice and lush and delicious the food is, and then like the person you've been talking to, you get the conversation off Tinder, and then like either you or the other person doesn't translate well in meat space. So then when you get the product and you're holding your soggy Big Mac and shitty fries that have been under the heat lamp for 2 hours, you're like, I'm not gonna say no to this. I already put on pants, you know? Like
I'm already here.
Yeah.
But then you're in the
See,
middle
that's
of
why
it,
it's
and it's like, what,
self-harm.
then you're in the
That's why
middle
it's
of it, and it's like
self-harm, 'cause
shitting
it's
your
like
brains out
McDonald's.
after eating like a ton of fast food.
But also, I think one thing that came up, I think it was a stream with it was the women's stream. It was our good friend Default Friend and Alex Kashuda. They were talking about, and I think this also came up with you and Jessix, about like how this notion of like intra-female competition, how women are competing for the attention of men. But then the good retort that I found, I think
It's a
it was,
projection.
No, but the good retort that I think it was either you or Jessix, or it may have been Default Friend, that said, it's kind of like, yeah, but do you want male attention from guys that just want to fuck you? Basically, like that's like there's a quality of male attention, but
Yeah.
I guess because women don't like think of
They just don't
they're-
think.
well, they don't think. I know that's very true. No,
Full
I
stop.
mean,
No more. Say no more.
say no
The
more.
stream
Women
is
don't
over.
think.
The point is made.
No, but what I mean is and I also we wanted to cover the topic of this dream person, but before that, I think that it's true. I think women don't think of attention because men, I mean, maybe I'm speaking for myself as a grotesque incel, but I think that men don't. I'm just kidding. I'm only partially kidding. Men, we kind of like quantify things in terms of like female attention. Like if any woman gives us the slightest hint of feeling, it's like this, big thing. But with women, I think there is a quality there. And that to say that, well, it's just competing for male attention, but yet it's like these men just want to do grotesque sexual acts to you. They don't really care about you as a person. So it's like, that was a good retort that I found. So what do you think of that, Brittany? Like when people accuse you, for instance, of saying that you're just like a fucking, you're like a trad pick me now or something like that. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I obviously agree with that. And I think that it's just a projection because men aren't, it's like if you were surrounded by, okay, basically, if you're a starving African child wanting food versus someone who's well-fed in America, men are basically the starving African children, right? So like when you're already full, when you're already satiated, you're not gonna be dying to eat some McDonald's, but like to the African child, where they're not the sexual selector in this comparison, they're going to want it more and value it a lot differently than how I value McDonald's. I'm like, ew, get that shit away from me. It's so gross and self-harm to consume that. But the African child isn't going to see it that way. They're going to be like, holy shit, I'm hungry. So the dynamic, it's just different. I think men are projecting their experience onto women because they're not used to being the sexual selector.
Right.
So they think, so what I'm getting into is that they think that women have to be jealous, but we really don't, because if we wanted to get laid at any point, we could. It is harder to get relationships because there's so many coomers and men addicted to porn.
I'm gonna start calling fucking super horny men African children.
Yeah, that's what I've just been thinking about you saying African children in the same sentence as sex for like the past like 5 minutes.
I'm literally just gonna start calling Terrence an African child on the podcast now.
That sounds a little racist.
To bring it back to James's earlier point,
I mean, he's Italian, so he's black. It's not racist.
Yeah, we're black. I'm Italian.
To bring it back to James's earlier point about billionaires, there's got to be like 1, maybe 2 billionaires out there who just has the most insatiable underage jungle fever out there, right? There's got to be at least one, right?
Jungle fever?
Nothing but starving African children on this.
Well, I know that
I'm getting another beer. I'm getting another
Starving
beer.
African child with jungle fever.
I know the Bronze Age pervert.
Oh.
He has this theory that
Oh.
the elites, they promote open borders. Oh God.
Hey, listen. If he liked starving Cambodian children, he'd have yellow fever. All right, like, come on, like, you could either call it a preference or like a
Keep in mind that
fucked up
Stain
fetish,
Haynes
right?
is himself a person of color, so he can say it
Yeah.
as a
He's
Queens-
Mexican. So
no, he's not. He's
yeah, he's
Puerto-
Mexican and he's black, aka Greek. So,
Oh, God.
And
so
I'll
he
have
can,
you know,
he can say it.
I'll have you know, Sicilian blacks are third cousins to Greek blacks. All right.
That's very
yeah.
true.
Sicily was an ancient Athenian African colony called Syracuse. Never forget.
My mother's side, the Calabrese side, as a that particular part of Calabria was colonized by the Greeks. So I'm probably Greekoid at least in half. But my other half is Central Italian, Marchigian. So I am the closest to the Romans here.
I want to bring.
You
I want to
think
bring.
so? You
You
think
know
so?
that Stain Haynes is Italian or Greek without even removing his mask, because literally every time he shows up at my apartment, it's either stacks of pizza, a fucking cake, tons of beer. Like, he's literally trying to
There you
constantly
go.
feed me at my parties like a fucking Italian or Greek mother.
like a fucking noni and a black shawl. I'll feed you till you fucking explode. Then
Yeah,
I
but-
make my
true.
move.
Yeah.
Then I make my move.
But no, I was just gonna say quickly. I wanted to ask Brittany. Well, before that, what I mentioned.
Wait. I
mentioned-
also wanted to ask something to Brittany. So hold on. Here I
Where's
go.
your camera, love? What happened?
Oh, don't worry about it. It's still there. I mean, you're not gonna see me.
Speaking of
unfortunately, but-
cooming.
Yeah, I
and
was about to
he's-
say he's jerking
with
off right
one
now.
hand.
So.
No. Everybody else could see
No,
me.
Dad.
Everybody else could see me on the screen, so they know I'm not cooming. I mean, they never see my lower half, so you never know. But anyway,
I've
seen
what I
my
wanted.
lower
Hold on.
half.
What I wanted to ask. Hold on.
For
What
all
I
we know,
wanted to ask has to
Lev
do
is-
with
Lev is-
prostitution.
Lev is fapping so hard, local seismologists and geomancers are worried. Be careful, Lev.
Yeah, people with divining rods are going nuts right now.
I
He's
will
just
try
trying to
my
ask a
best.
question. You guys keep talking about him jerking off.
Not a
Here- okay,
geologist.
here's the
a
question.
geomancer.
Here's the
Well,
question.
maybe if he
Rumors.
stopped jerking off. Maybe if he stopped. Don't lay this at our feet.
All right,
Yeah,
Lev,
this is all a karmic punishment. Okay, here I go. So my question to you, Brittany, and to everybody else is about prostitution. So let's say we got rid of porn. There's still going to be a black market for prostitution when it comes to a place like South Korea, for example. I was saying this over dinner before, that there's this guy I know who married a South Korean woman, and in South Korea, he used to tell me that prostitution places are all over the place. They don't make it a point to advertise it. This is not something they want the tourists to know. This is just one of those, really well-kept secrets that anywhere you go, you're going to be able to find a prostitute. And
I mean, we
that's,
still have massage
yeah.
parlors, like they're there.
They're there,
Yeah,
but I think the
mean, just,
prostitution's
walk
there
around New
like
York
more.
City, just go into any massage parlor and you can probably get a handy. Like,
I'm
Talk
gonna
about
what I
yellow
understand
fever.
is-
I'm gonna get
yeah,
Talk
but
about
from what I-
yellow fever. It's there.
Yeah, it is there, but
Political
from what I
statement.
understand, this is different.
Do you think that men they have an attraction to
I
like
think
certain men have
don't
attraction to
think.
Asian women because of their sort of youngish looks? But what I wanted to ask along the lines of what Lev is saying is that the argument goes that and by the way, we have a $20 super chat that we're going to read.
Hold on, I do want Brittany to answer though my question first, because
No, but that question I
okay.
wanted to supplement your question about
Okay.
the prostitution thing. But do you think that like people that say that pornography is sort of like a relief valve for men to not go out and do a terrible, disgusting?
Wow. So
Legal
we should just subject women to a violation of human rights and being treated like their property, being sold like their property for men to release themselves. That doesn't make much sense. It's very selfish.
No, at the end of the day, going back to what Noah was saying before, it's unironically the men's fault. I mean, the real fault is the psyops. The psyop
Well, they're
machine,
fueling the
but, like,
market.
But after we blame the psyop machine, the next thing is the men for enabling, fucking OnlyFans and porn and fucking women who do this, shitty behavior and like,
Well, there's a lot of structural
lowering their
problems as
standards and
well.
whatnot just because they want to fuck. So
Yeah,
if men
there's
weren't
obviously a
so
lot of
fucking horny,
factors.
then society would be in a way better place.
But also there's structural problems. I mean, technology has enabled it, but also I would say that the relations between men and women have been so thoroughly degraded that people tend to look at each
that's
other
why I was
through
saying the psyop
materialistic-
machine technology is like
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
enabler.
Wait, I do want to get
Levin-
back. I do want to get back to that question though, because
prostitution. Yeah, go ahead, Lev. Go ahead, Lev.
See, this is what happens when you supplement my questions, Gio. Everybody forgets about the original one. Anyway, Brittany.
No, Lev, we're just ignoring you. Don't worry, it's fine.
Oh God.
It's because we can't see you.
I know.
Yeah.
If I can't see him, he doesn't exist. Simple as.
I have no
If
sense
Joe
of
exists,
object
Brittany
permanence.
exists,
I'm
and
like a
Gio
baby.
exists. That's it.
Stop dematerializing, Lev, you fucker.
So Brittany, on the black market, that's probably going to occur
on the black
whenever...
market.
Exactly, black market. Thoughts?
If I wasn't an alcoholic before this stream, I definitely am now.
Oh my God.
A paste?
I can say it. I'm Italian. Okay.
Okay, so I'll answer the question. So my
Gabagoo.
response to the argument about the black market, it's really dumb because that's like saying, oh, well, you know, CP, like it's going to be in the black market anyway, so it should just be legal. No, like we have it illegal and we make it so if we see it, we get it taken down, we contact the authorities, and that also helps society accept that it's not okay. It doesn't make it 100%.
A little worse though.
Yeah, I mean, you're competing
yes,
with something
it's obviously
that's
worse if a child's being abused.
Yeah, but you're competing with something that's the world's oldest profession that throughout history, it's like you're going to be competing with human nature.
You know what else?
You have autonomy. You know, Brittany, you don't have an OnlyFans.
No, I have one as a joke with my cats on it, but
okay. Well, regardless, you don't have a real OnlyFans. Women can choose not to do that.
They can, but I think a lot of people don't seem to understand how grooming and manipulation works. And a lot of women that are unfortunately not knowing better, they go into that and then they're not really given sympathy because it's like, oh, well, I can't give her sympathy. She makes a lot of money. And they're totally discounting all of the mental damage that it causes and the regret that they're most definitely going to have later, or the mental damage they're going to have later at the very
well, that's
least.
how people view like celebrities and stuff in general. It's like, oh, well, they have a lot of clout, so like, you know, whatever I say to them doesn't matter.
Same as YouTubers.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a political statement right now.
Go ahead.
I tweeted about this earlier. I think Lev retweeted it. I made a point about this actually, which is what I said is, want to get rid of gun violence? Legalize pistol duels.
Yes. Yes. Unironically, that's true.
Yes. Bring back demanding satisfaction.
In America, there was laws in the books where people had a legal right to, if I recall, I know the Catholic Church banned it for a bit.
And that's how Pushkin died as well.
While we're legalizing prostitution, legalize pistol duels.
Texas is already there. Like in September, you can just get a gun. You don't even need a permit anymore.
No, I'm totally cool with that. I'm not talking about that necessarily. I'm talking about pistol duels in terms of like you both shake hands, you agree on it, kill each other.
But at the same time, we were talking about this last stream.
May the best man win.
Oh, also to answer the second half of the question, the what would you call it? Like a logical fallacy, where people are like, "Oh, it's the world's oldest profession." Okay, and additionally, it's not.
So you suggest to me like
Additionally, it's not the world's oldest profession. The world's oldest profession is slavery, and we don't allow that because it's a violation of human rights, and we as a society accept that it's a violation of human rights, and that's what gets things. That's what motivates people to not do things. Is when society, when our culture says it's not okay, not necessarily a law, but the law helps.
So Brittany, my question for you is like, do you want to?
Right?
My question is, do you want to create a law to ban OnlyFans and porn?
Yeah, because there's literally sex trafficking on OnlyFans in the first place, and porn inherently fuels the sex trafficking industry. Porn will always fuel sex trafficking. It goes hand in hand. That's why Pornhub had deleted so many videos, and their verification process doesn't even require an ID. So
do you think some like nuance should be introduced? Like maybe we should have better laws around it instead of banning it outright. Like I feel like people should be allowed some freedom, you know?
If we're talking, like saying, oh, we should allow everything wrong. We should allow CP. We should allow murder. We should allow all of this. Like, I just don't think
these are measurably worse than a girl showing her pussy on Twitter, like in her OnlyFans.
Abuse is abuse. So a person being abused is being abused. Obviously, it's worse if a child is being abused because they're going to get more damage from that because they're underdeveloped and that's their critical development year.
But what about an ancient history?
Let me answer that second half of his question.
Yeah, go ahead, Brittany.
So the second half of his question, in terms of if I think there should be a law. So if we couldn't go the route of completely abolishing it, which I think we should do, I think that at the very least, there should be a law for at least 25 years old. You have to be 25 to consent to such self-harm. because these girls are too young at 18 to be doing this. They have no idea what they're getting themselves into. They're being memed into it. But I don't think that that would even necessarily work 100%, because just like with Pornhub, they have girls underage on their site that they don't take down for months and months.
So I have another
Despite
question,
being
I guess.
requested to.
That actually made-
question. I just have a quick question. I just want to follow this line of reasoning. Are you pro other forms of censorship in that kind of way? Like, what else would you want to ban from the internet?
So I believe in freedom of speech, and I don't think banning porn violates freedom of speech. Obviously, there's some speech that's banned, like slander or making violent threats, and there's a reason for that, because people are stupid, and you have to.
I mean, slander isn't banned. You can slander anyone. You're just going to get a lawsuit, right? Like, there are consequences for that. Don't you think the greater solution would be to like allow parents to do what they want with their children instead of outright banning people's choice to, like, people should be allowed to harm themselves if they want to, don't you think? Like, should that be made illegal?
So that line of logic got us to where we are right now.
I don't care. Like, I don't get.
Let me chime in with
one quick
something.
thing. One quick thing though, really quickly. In terms of prostitution in the ancient world, though, it's not like there were just streetwalkers that were the end result of getting like trafficked across state lines or because of promises of work. And sure, that might have existed, but there were temples and there were temple whores.
Yeah,
like, this was
prostitution was an enumerated social.
This was an In fact, other than the head of the temple whore had more fun than anyone else in the temple. Like, this was a part, like, in like Sumeria, Egypt, Greece, Rome. So like, sure. And before these temples with prostitution, like, there was agriculture. And then before agriculture, maybe there was like
indentured servitude.
I'll let you put it in for 5 silver shillings. Like, you know, like, so when discussing prostitution in the ancient world, like, it would be remiss to remove the historical context of it rather than just paint the broad brush of like, yeah, prostitution was bad then too.
Let me hit something real quick.
Yeah, Noah has the floor.
Let me
That's
hit
a great
something.
point,
Okay.
Steve. Noah, go ahead.
So what I find really interesting is I'm usually opposed to regulating pretty much anything. But what Brittany just said is actually very interesting, because you think of frontal lobe development. I believe it's frontal lobe development. Like, you're not fully you until you're 25, right? That makes
your
sense.
rational capacity.
Your rational capacity is not there until you're 25, right? So it's like, okay, so 18 is the age of consent, and your frontal lobe's not there. You know what I'm trying to say? But then you're 25, and it's like, okay, now you're like a fully formed adult. That kind of makes sense.
Should 25 be the age of consent?
No, I totally disagree with that. That's what I'm not.
Well, I guess my question would be like, what is the conclusion
of that? What I'm saying is, I think that's very interesting that for a second I was like, because usually I'm completely against regulating anything. I mean, I think it's hilarious that the drinking age is 21. You know what I mean?
Would the analogy of guns make sense here or not? Where, let's say, you would have guns being illegal for people to own, and then you would have a black market where people would be able to sell these guns on the black market for people to buy.
Yeah, I mean, you know what's gonna happen if we ban OnlyFans? Prostitution is gonna go back to being controlled by like the mafia and like degenerates in New York.
That's exactly.
We're gonna go back to the age when.
No, there should be more risk to it, because it de-incentivizes women from doing it. I don't want women to get hurt. That's why I'm against porn. But I'm saying, at least if there was that risk factor of having to be in the street, then they wouldn't want to do it as much. But
isn't that kind of, for example, like with
absolutely for the accessibility of it, which is what I find incredible. Like, you have this whole TikTok thing of like.
But there is an example I could bring up with that.
For example, like, I have a younger sister, right? And she's only 4 years younger than me. So it's like, it's kind of a different thing. But if she was younger, like, having a younger sister makes me think about that with like the whole TikTok thing. And it's like, they grow up in this sort of, that's what I was going to say, is they grow up in this environment where it's completely normalized and promoted. And there's absolutely zero barrier to entry.
Even Instagram,
which is very
interesting
to me.
Even with the baddie aesthetic, there's some kind of overt sexualization. But go ahead, Lev. Sorry.
I guess one example that may be closer to this, as far as like what exactly are Americans going to put up with, even if it's going to be harmful for them, which will increase the overall amount of people that would go to the pimps, let's say. There is an example I can bring of oxys. There is a certain compound that the manufacturers of oxycodone put in the oxys that cause liver damage. This is intentionally done, from what I understand, to prevent people from overdosing on it, because it's like, you're going to die if you overdose on it, but people don't really realize this. People, sometimes they have the memory of a goldfish. So that's the other concern here, that while the intent may be to let's prevent more people from getting into it because of how dangerous it is, I wonder how stupid most people are going to be, or how desperate most people are going to be, that they're going to go into it regardless.
Unironically,
why is it that back then there was less, right?
There was
less of an epidemic, right?
Yeah, I mean, look what happened with alcohol. They banned it and everyone stopped drinking.
Well, that's why I said earlier. Wait, hold on. Excuse me. So I'll respond to that. So I said earlier, specifically for that reason, that the real change comes from socially, making it socially unacceptable, and the law just kind of helps on like an official level to like make sure there's a firm wall there to not do it. But it is very important that we as a society stop normalizing prostitution. And it's kind of like, it's self-harm. It's kind of like organ donation, right? We don't allow people to sell their organs because it's self-harm. People would be stupid enough to sell their kidneys for like $5,000, and sure, you'll find a loophole, do it, whatever, but we don't incentivize that. What?
I'd sell a kidney for 20 grand.
Yeah, a lot of people would. And it's the same thing with this. Like, I'd open my butthole for X amount of money, right?
I would literally just invest in crypto.
And also, I have to respond to the other guy earlier. I don't remember his name, with the black and white. With him saying, "Oh, it's like back in the day there was prostitutes." So, I don't know where he is kind of like getting it from, where they were happy, like speaking for them. Like, how do you know if they were like truly happy? Especially when it goes to show, when we have statistics showing it causes mental damage with prostitution. There's plenty of statistics for depression, PTSD, all this stuff was surveyed. And
having a
also,
fucking
you could
computer
justify
causes
slavery
mental
the same
damage.
way.
Unironically, Ted Kaczynski was right in that regard. Yes,
True.
the computer does.
Having a computer causes mental damage. Like, I don't want to go down this road where anything that's potentially harmful to ourselves we ban. I don't trust that at all.
Well, no,
I think I'm going to have a daughter, I'm going to have a wife, and neither of them are going to be doing OnlyFans because I'm going to control the fuck out of them. But I don't want to police the world, you know?
It definitely starts with you. I agree. It starts with within and your own people around you. That's definitely important. But I don't want to put like human trafficking on the same level as drinking a soda. Like, that's kind of ridiculous to say, like, oh, well, now you're policing everything. That's not true. There's a reason why we have laws for some things and not.
Okay, but also, like, you're putting, like, you know, human trafficking, like carrying sex slave across the border in a truck, you're putting that on the same level as like selling pictures of your pussy for money. Like, you're saying
a lot of them are trafficked.
I mean, maybe a lot of them are, but most of them are not.
But there are some women choose to go into it on their own accord and to ignore that entirely.
And like, some people choose to sell their organs. It doesn't make it good. It doesn't mean we should embrace it.
Right.
Okay. It's a good thing. If this
were
any
other
addiction, we
but
wouldn't be
at no
doing
point.
this.
But here's the thing: at no point did I like sing the praises of such a thing. Like, to respond to what you had mentioned earlier, like, how is it that every ancient society figured out some sort of system where they were like, all right, this is a temple worship and we need like a minimum number of women that are going to do this thing, this biological impulse to procreate we're all wired with. And I'm not saying that like,
and they also had slavery. You could justify slavery the same way. It doesn't make it right. It's still morally not right, and it causes damage to women and children.
But here's the thing. But here's the thing, though. Like, to immediately go for the temple whore has it just as bad as the slave. I'm not saying that like the temple whores had 401ks and like, you know,
they were part of a ritualistic structure, is I think the point Stain Haynes
like it wasn't
that doesn't
like
make it any better.
Right. Okay, but
no, obviously not. But but here's what Saint Aquinas said, that
trafficking.
But what Saint Aquinas said, that there's always going to be a segment of society that will quote unquote debase themselves and their souls, and so that he thought that I'm totally butchering it, but he thought that there should be like at least some passive tolerance in the margins of society for things like prostitution. He said, and I quote, "Take away prostitution from the world and you will fill it with can I say sodomy on YouTube?
You already did. You already did.
No, but that's
with Sharpie and Pooper. With Sharpie and Pooper.
Do you mind if I ask one more question of Brittany, and then we can get off this topic?
Then we want to move on to YouTube.
I didn't know I was entering a debate, but
it's okay. I just have one more question. I'm not looking to debate you or do like a gotcha.
No, I know.
I'm really curious.
I think we're mostly on the same page. I think you're just more relaxed about it. But like, I used to be that way, and I did a lot of research, and I realized like how much it damages people.
Yeah, and I'm not going to claim to be familiar with the data, but I'm not, because I'm not. But the other day, you're friends with Jessix, right? You guys are good pals. I had to talk with her not too long ago. And we were talking about, she had said on stream,
friend
she
of
had
the
said
show,
that,
by the way.
Friend of the show. She had said that anyone who has a polyamorous relationship is mentally ill. And there was another guy in this chat saying the same thing to me. And I was having that conversation, and I'm curious what your take is on that.
100% agree.
mental-
Statistically,
mental-
go ahead,
mental-
Brittany.
I don't know any statistics on it offhand, but obviously it's dysfunctional. And I think the definition of mental illness is that sort of dysfunction. So I think you could say it's like a symptom of mental illness.
So I guess my follow-up question to that would be, do you think people who cheat are mentally ill?
People who cheat, I think that they probably have other mental illness that calls them to do that. Again, it's like a symptom, in my opinion. I'm not a therapist, but
Well, my good
Okay.
friend.
That's interesting, actually. That's also
I would have to completely
interesting.
disagree, but it's okay. I'm not gonna.
Well, no,
keep
here's
going
what
into
I
it.
would say, and we have to move on.
Mhm.
But our good friend, Jessix has been on BTR as well a lot. But another person, our good friend, Modern Hermeticist, said it is like filth. The gutters take it out of the city. Yeah, I think that was an exact quote. But what I would say about polyamory, and this isn't my take. This is Default Friend's take on Twitter. When she was on the show, she said that like the problem is, it's not like. The problem with polyamory is that a lot of like weird niche, like kind of crazy people are attracted to it. It's always going to appeal to a very small segment of society, such as like the, rationalists and post-rationalist people that follow Ayala, and like very, tech people and people that are in sort of like weird, like bourgeois positions in society. Whereas she was saying, Default Friend, that the greater harm to relations among men and women are sort of like casual hookup culture, because even though you don't have these like weird Baroque, like I'm signing a contract in a polycule type of situation, it seems that the greater harm is this like hookup culture. It's kind of like that one line in The Lord of War, which was very true, is based off a true story, where the Ethan Hawke character, the Interpol agent, said that no, it's like people talk about WMDs and nukes. The real weapon of mass destruction are the small arms that are being trafficked by the tens of millions every year into the hands of African warlords that are used to just obliterate whole villages. And so it's kind of like that same analogy of casual hookup culture being the real culprit. But maybe final thoughts on this, and then we want to move on.
Yeah, we do have to move on.
YouTube
And also,
I just want to say one more thing before we
guy.
move on. Wait.
Go ahead, Brittany.
One more thing.
Just really quick, to answer Zatai's question, I think that it would be a symptom of hypersexualization, and hypersexualization is a mental illness.
Can I hit on something real quick right now?
I have to pee really bad. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I got to address this real quick. I wouldn't necessarily say that cheating is a result of mental illness. I think it's just
But it's hypersexualization.
To a degree,
potentially.
I would say it's really just avoidance.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
it's
true.
people that
There
are
could be other
incapable.
mental illnesses too,
Yeah,
and like being avoidant could be a symptom of another mental
Yeah,
illness.
I
That's why
think
was
it's
saying
just
a
people that are
symptom.
incapable of actually facing, not even necessarily consequences, but just
But
like
people cheat for
ending
various
something
reasons.
and moving on to something. You know what I mean? It's like if you want to fuck somebody else, just end your fucking relationship and move
Yeah.
on. Like
But-
it's just like
But
I think
Hugbox,
it's a cowardice thing.
But one of the issues here though is that like some people cheat out of conquest, if like, oh, to see if I still got it, and some people
That's
cheat 'cause
cowardice.
they're
That's what I'm
lacking-
saying. Is it's all
That's
cowardice.
true.
But some people like, well, that is a really good point, because like rather than use communication, which is the bedrock of anything involving two or more people, like, you know what, like Hugbox, you got a good point, because like even if someone cheats, because it's like they're lacking something at home, so they look for it elsewhere. Even if it's like, I'm gonna tell this coworker all about my day every time I see him, and then 3 months later she's blowing him in the coffee room at the holiday party. Like, it's a fair point. Avoidance.
In the coffee.
It's
That's always
just
the
it's
coffee
avoiding
room.
oneself and denying oneself. You know what I mean? That's all that it is.
Touche.
It's true. No, because you're trying to find something in the other that you're not getting with the person that you've chosen.
I think it's
really
rooted in a
with,
sort
and
of fear of being alone, which is one of the worst fears that you can ever have. Where it's like people
Exactly.
that want
Just
to
real
waste
quick-
somebody's
Well, that's-
time
that-
while they
that's
look
what I
for
don't-
another option. It's like
That's what I understand about polyamory, is that when eventually everybody grows old, like in their 80s, who's going to be there helping the other one, pardon my, language here, but like wipe the other's ass, or like do something that I just can't imagine these people growing old and being stuck in that same paradigm. Eventually there has to be a point where somebody close to you becomes like your arm or your leg, like somebody who you can't really be without. You become like one.
You mean like a significant other?
Yeah,
Like,
I can't see the same thing working for like multiples, several people at once. It doesn't make sense.
Just real quickly about poly couples, like 9 times out of 10, not a looker in the bunch. Like for
No,
I
yeah.
don't know why
It's
you
true.
have these
Very
like
true.
They
I
they
have,
get
like-
they fuck a 2, a 3, and a 5 to say that they fucked an 8.
I mean, I would agree with that.
Oh.
I would agree. There's a lot of ugly ones. You see
not
the
to be-
Reddit
and not
shit,
to
right?
be, like
Yeah, you've seen the
That
Reddit
was
poly
accurate.
threads.
not
It's
to be
very true.
cynical, not to be cynical or vindictive though, but like I haven't met many I've only met a handful of people who identify as poly, but two things always stood out to me. One, they throw all their like terms out there, like I'm a non-hierarchical blah 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 buzzword, catchphrase, verb, the adjective, noun, poly person. And then two, like it's like 80% of their personality most of the time. Like it's like the decision tree, the dialogue options in their head, they keep clicking. By the way, did I tell you I'm poly? I did the poly thing one time. You know what rhymes with poly? Poly. It's like, dude, we haven't even gotten the fucking appetizers yet. Please.
Cowardice, safety of
Mo-
numbers.
Mo-
Well,
Molly-
that's actually something that I want to
Molly
get
rhymes
to.
with poly,
Yes.
and a lot of them are on drugs half the time. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And Molly reminds me of Molyneux, who wanted to defoo all those, all those people, so
But
that
see,
they would
yeah,
become
that's
his
another
poly.
thing. I think people don't call him out enough for his defoo thing. That's like a kind of weird and creepy cult. Like, no, did I say the C word? No.
Wait,
we have to-
but okay. Here's the next topic that I want to bring up. It's related to what Stained.
Dream.
Okay, we're
Oh.
going. Yes, we're gonna get to Dream. In fact,
Dream's
let
not
me
even
take my.
real. He's
Yes,
fake.
let me take my
Minecraft isn't
topic and
real,
put it
it's
after
fake.
Dream. So Dream comes first. But what I also wanted to say, Brittany, if you are interested, I'm thinking that there could be a really explosive debate on this subject of
Mass
sex work
debating.
with, with Hugio, Alexander Bard.
Oh wow.
What do
I
you think of
wonder.
that? What do you think of that idea?
Because Alex thinks. Well, I mean that's true. But to address someone in the chat really quickly, what I meant, I brought up Brunswick's pervert because he has this one theory that the elites are all Jeffrey Epstein's, and that the reason that they advocate for open borders is that they basically want fresh, exotic meat to import into the country through trafficking. That was BAP's theory as to why the elites support open borders, because they're all of the Epstein persuasion, and they grow tired of the local, the sort of crop of poor whites and blacks in America. They want some fresh meat.
I believe that, and that we've been psyop this whole time to just make it for people to think it's like, oh well, they want open borders so they get more people to vote Democrats. Obviously not the case, because like elections are fake and democracy is fake and all that shit. So
And plus the Mexicans will probably create castizo futurism anyways in the future if more of them.
what?
Well, if they become like based right-wing coalition that, like, for example, the voter turnout, the Hispanic voter turnout for Orange Man, for instance. But let's go ahead, Lev. Go ahead.
Oh, here we go. Okay, so
I can hear
I
you.
can hear you.
yeah, but the chat doesn't hear me. Here we go. Now the chat hears me. Everything is fine. Everything is okay. So what I wanted to get to, when it comes to Dream, a point that Stain Haynes brought up before, that when it comes to a lot of these young people online today, they don't seem to have anything that much beyond like a surface level interest in things. Like, how many young people today read books? How many young people today,
Books are
gay. Like,
go hit the
here's
gym.
the thing. They're gay in the good way. They're gay in the good way, because a lot of those gays back then.
Wait,
Yes, exactly. They were.
Wait. What kind of gay are we talking about? Like Liberace
We're
gay?
no. We're
Fucking
the
dick in
soccer.
your ass, sucking cock kind of.
No, we're talking about Socrates gay. That's the kind of gay we're talking about. You know,
the only
Socrates
cool thing
used
to
to
read
fight.
is manga. all
Yes.
right? I
Yes.
just started reading One Piece. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. Well, you got to read JoJo too, which
I already
is
read JoJo.
Oh, but Lev.
Then you
did
know
it
what I
all in
mean.
2 weeks back
So
in
you-
April, Lev.
Okay, so you know what I mean about the manly kind
talked
of gay
about
then.
But Lev, really
Yeah.
quickly, one thing that always strikes me as odd though is that, like, something the only way I could describe it is how, like, a lot of people have an understanding of things that are like thousands of volumes wide but one volume deep. Like, it's this really weird, reflexive, performative song and dance, and where, like, you end up with these roadblocks where, like, okay, I'd like to learn more about your fringe cockamamie position that is a theory-driven, convoluted view of the world that subverts common sense expectations, and then I'm told to educate myself. Like, I'm not even given a starting point to better understand this, or like, but however, like, take the discussion we were having like 20 minutes earlier, all right? Like, I'm fairly certain that everyone here, like in this stream, can see eye to eye on a number of things, and we're able to like articulate our position without going, oh, well, Gio, you're an alt-right, nocturnal, white nationalist, active shooter, like monstrous, like scourge to the earth. Because
that's literally what Gio is. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God.
I think you just read his Twitter bio.
Sure.
I read his Twitter bio.
That's really funny.
For the record, I was never associated with the alternative right. I'm more of a dissident right person. I think that the alternative right is dead. But as for the other things, I mean, I truly, I don't know. I think I'm fighting against the idea that Italians are white people, but I guess for the time being,
Let's go.
I don't know.
Okay, but here's the thing that I wanted to get to regarding this. So we have a weird society today where before we had a lot of people who were we have a society, all right, but we had a lot of people back in the day who were, you know, like the lower class, working in the farm, working off the land, you know, inherited their father's farm, so on and so forth. Then we had people who were like in the aristocracy, intelligentsia, whatever you want to call it. Today there's a weird middle class, not in the sense like the middle class is kind of disappearing, but there's a weird middle class as far as what people are into online, which I think encompasses a lot of people. Like, so many people know who Dream is, so many people know who a lot of these YouTubers are, but as far as what exactly they're getting, like, how
I didn't know
people...
about him until Turkey Tom talked about him in a video.
Well, Gio, you studied fucking philosophy in Canada. That's exactly what I'm talking about. There are not that many people like you, Gio. So the
Every
point that
YouTuber that I'm not friends with on Twitter is fake. Just simple as.
Okay, so the point that I'm bringing up here, I wonder if like the level in general of like people who are supposed to be in power has just like gone off the fucking cliff when it comes to people like I looked up the age of the people
by the way,
the age of the
I agree.
The age of the founding fathers during the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Let's see, we had what was his name? Hold on, Alexander Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton was 21 years old when that happened, and he was an incredibly influential person. I bet that a lot of those like upper middle class, you know, like lower royalty, whatever you want to call it, class kids, they were learning Latin, they were learning Greek, you know, like they had a fucking education from these institutions that they later on used to create something like the United States of America. So my point here is that, like, are we failing when it comes to that shit? Are most of the people online today just mindlessly staring at people like Dream and becoming zombies, or are these like the inheritors of what used to be people who just tilled the soil?
It's the second one.
Neither. I'll pick what's behind door number. I'm kidding.
Guys, sucks.
Shit, this is a tough. Damn it. I need a minute to think about this.
I think people's brains have turned off. That's
Let
my
me.
answer.
True.
All right. Here's the thing. I genuinely think this. Having spoken to the dude, picked his brain, this is what I think. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's fucking stupid. I think
that's probably what it is.
I literally think I genuinely think that the dude does not think one step past what he does at all.
But what was it? He said something racist, or what
he said something really weird where he was like, he made some joke about how like all music is about drugs, then he was like, that might alienate black people.
Okay, so this is what happened. This is what happened. So he made this song. Okay, Dream is now a musician, and he made this song called like Mask, and in it, there's this meme that spawned from it because he's taking his normal pills in it, right? And they're like it's like an analogy, and it's not so subtle allusion to like anxiety medication, or maybe it was ADHD. I don't remember.
It was ADHD, anyway. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he's taking these normal pills and he throws them out, and people are saying, they're criticizing him, saying, "Oh, you're encouraging people to throw out your medication." So he responds to someone like who's just talking about it. He's like, "Well, people are saying that I'm like encouraging people to throw out their medication because I talked about my experience with medication." And then he says, drugs with like music notes around it, and then he says, "Ayo, turn that shit up, Charles." And so some people got mad at him, I guess, and then he made a tweet saying, "I'm sorry if my tweet earlier offended the black community. I didn't mean to upset you guys." God. And it was like his reply to it, his response came off as way more racist than anything he did before.
Imagine if he said, "Turn it up, Tyrone," instead of Charles.
Oh my God. Well, that would actually be like talking. Yeah, no, I mean, it's weird. I think he just caves to everything. I think he's just an idiot, probably.
Yeah.
I think he's a
Well-
retard. I do think he also cheated in Minecraft, but I don't think that means he's like
I think
a
he
master
admitted to that.
manipulator.
But one of the funniest things
Yeah,
that
he
I got
did.
from talking to him is he's like, I meet drama head on. And I was like, yeah.
No, you don't.
I was like,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
he
like-
definitely
that's
meets
like-
it head on, and then he turns around, he fucking opens
And
his
he-
asshole, and he
yeah,
takes
exactly.
it. He takes
Yeah,
it.
That was what my tweet was, dude. I got so canceled. I made a tweet in January. I think it was in January or February. And
I
I said,
remember
might
this
as well
tweet.
bend over, let me fuck you in the ass, Minecraft boy. Because
Yeah,
I was
he
saying
does.
just every single time he bends over, he spreads his cheeks. That was all I was saying. It immediately
it.
turned into the entire everybody's
For
like, oh, no
example-
one wants to sexually assault Dream. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I was saying, guys.
No,
yeah.
no, listen. I mean, in all fairness, he keeps presenting like a fawn, all right?
Oh.
And you saw his chocolate starfish, and you were like, I wanna
And the
I
hot
wanna
dog
tongue-
flavored water.
I want to tongue punch that balloon knot till the sun comes up, and you wanted to
Oh.
oblige.
I just
But
thought it
he-
was really funny that he called me after I tweeted that.
He felt threatened because you
He DM'd me and he was like, you want to talk after I tweeted?
No, dude, Hugbox.
What am I getting
Oh
into
my
right now?
God.
Hugbox, you know what he did? He did the equivalent of like when you see someone you like on Tinder, and you're like, ooh, like this caught my eye. There's substance to your profile. We're gonna swipe right.
But-
and then when you match, you're like, oh shit, now I gotta say
But
something.
but at the same time, how do like people like our favorite YouTuber at the top of the heap, how does he avoid going Justin Trudeau blackface and people bringing up other things about other Twitch people on stream, mind you, saying very racially charged things, but meanwhile Brittany Venti pretends to be offended at some guy humping her GTA character, and apparently that was a grievous sin. It seems that this whole like we were saying before, the whole air of cancellation is mediated out to some and not to others, or maybe that just, I don't know,
Yeah, I
someone
was telling you,
forgot to
they
pay
told
the
me
mods that day.
themselves. They told me themselves they're all on the same page.
Yep.
That's what they said.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
it's really
don't
funny.
talk about that anymore. We're all on the same page. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
By
But
the
what
way,
dream-
I just
Go
signed
ahead,
to a
Brittany.
Did you
new
get the
org,
memo?
and we're
Didn't you
all
get
on
the
same
memo,
page.
Noah? This is what
Yeah.
we think now. Read the
I
email.
literally-
God damn it.
I literally just, I shit you not, in this call, I literally started laughing right after he said that to me, and I said, I'm going to go have sex, and hung up on him. That was the end of that call.
Based?
Brittany, what were you saying?
oh, I was gonna say, all I really know about Dream was the John Swan drama, and then the video Zaptai did on it. And after
Yeah.
watching that, I just think that Dream is hiding his power level. I think that's what it is.
I totally agree.
He's trolling. He's like he's LARPing as
Dude.
liberal so he can low key like
When I
say
was
edgy
talking to him,
shit.
when I was
Maybe.
talking
Get
to
away
him,
with
I
it.
was literally
Respect the
like,
grift.
this guy is edgy as fuck. There's no way that he's
Yeah.
not.
Well, the thing
Just
is, there's
way
a
that he
super
was
old video
answering
he
the
made.
questions, it felt like he was like, I would never
Well,
do
another
that.
person, but see,
You know what I mean? Like,
it's very funny how there's I wanted to get Tom your opinion on this. It's very funny how like what Brittany was saying about how some edgy people they do this OPSEC thing where they'll follow they'll like retweet verifieds on Twitter and breadtubers, and they'll do this like sort of kind of like OPSEC. But at the same token, you do have people that like lean into the edginess. Like, I mean, Ethan Klein's probably the best example, but another one, I personally think he's such a shameless piece of shit.
Based.
Well, him and Mr. Music Review Man,
Anthony Fantano here.
who
with
you've
another
done a
dick in
video
my
on,
ass.
Tom, who I'm ashamed to share ethnic heritage with. But I think that it's funny how
He's fake Italian. Don't worry, Gio.
yeah,
it's
he's a munja cake, obviously.
He's
bald.
He's vegan. He's vegan. You don't have to take anything he says
Oh,
seriously.
well, there
He's
you
vegan.
go.
You see this
Yeah,
hair?
that's not a real
you see this
Italian.
hair? He's not Italian.
Yeah, that's true. No, but
Italians rise up.
What I mean is that it seems that to do like a complete 180 when the sort of cancellation, long arm of cancellation creeps towards you, to not just do a 180. I mean, there's doing a 180, but there's also sort of throwing your former fans off the bus. And by the way, Cherry Tom, I just want to say, as someone who is a huge fan and who had I actually wrote an article on him as well, of negative XP. I think that the video, the juxtaposition there that you've made between like as soon as he went after Shooter, it was over. It was. But what
I mean, the thing is, Anthony will always maintain his core audience, and I think that's he has a sense of self-preservation where he didn't like ruin his image or anything because of that. And I don't hate Anthony. I don't know anything about him really like past that. If he's done anything bad, I have no idea. I don't hate him. I still watch his like second channel sometimes. I watched his interview with Mario Judah recently. Good video. But I will say, I think that there was a like if you ever find that shit funny, like I don't see how you can go past it. Like, I don't see how you can like go back. Like, you know, Dream 2 years ago, Dream made a video on his channel where he was showing off like he was like, this is the new black Minecraft skin. It's called Tyrone. And he said that in a video. This was on his channel. And
oh man.
And for him to like then go back and do like a 180, be like, guys, I'm so sorry for what I did. It's like, if you found it funny, just fucking say it. Just say you found it funny. Like it's okay, you know, like I totally think that most people, maybe there are some exceptions, but I think most people who, especially if they're like fully grown adults, you have 24-year-old men laughing at like jokes about Asian people. And then 2 years later, they're like, guys, you know, I've changed so much and I've become educated. It's like, bro, suck my dick. Fuck off.
How old?
I don't
how
care.
Old is Dream? I thought he was like young.
He's the same age.
Dream is younger. I think he would have been 19 and I think he's 21, 22.
But there's a long history of this. I mean, if you look at all of the major people that are like journalists today, for instance, I remember Nightmare Vision on Twitter, which is a person I want to have on the show. He pointed this out one time in a Tech Wars episode. A lot of these people that run like major blue check mark accounts, they come from something awful. A lot of them, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
If edgy humor,
they were saying N-words and they were saying G slurs, and they were having like they were making, some of them were outright doing cheese pizza activity, and yet they become powerful media figures. And even Chapo people were involved with something.
Well, maybe this is why Dream acts the way that he does.
Oh wait, Gio, to build on what you're saying, Something Awful goons have ended up in ridiculously high positions of power. Corridors of power.
Yeah,
like it's fascinating how people like even.
But now they
Eve
cancel
online,
people for racism now,
right?
Which is ironic,
Even though the FYAD section of the Something Awful forums, fuck you and die, like that was almost as awful as Helldom, which was basically like.
Helldom was like their container. It was their container.
Right. So like, so like there were people like, and then like the Eve Online Guild. And by the way, Something Awful goon died in Benghazi. Sean Stone, I believe.
Yeah,
and like, and when he died, Ezra Klein was like, I want to take a moment to celebrate the death of my friend who totally didn't launder Bitcoin and trade CP on an Eve Online server. His name was Sean Stone. Like, get the fuck
Ezra Klein, by the way, not only did he know that mob, but they did a fucking Bitcoin operation together, if I recall.
Yep.
So Ezra Klein totally threw his friend out of the bus when it was politically advantageous because, you know, the Fox News people were going after Benghazi. And I think the Benghazi thing was a real issue. I mean, they probably made a bit of hay out of it, but I mean, Ezra Klein is another example. I mean, he runs Vox, right?
Yes. He's the editor-in-chief of Vox. And
look at Vox. Vox, look what they do to YouTubers all the time. I mean,
two things. One, I always wondered what happened to those Something Awful goons in the mid-2000s that applied to the CIA as a quote joke end quote.
As a joke, by the way.
All right.
Someone in the chat mentions Bomber Guy was active on a website targeting DeviantArt furries.
Yeah, he was active on Medicare.
I know about that. Gio, what would you say is the cutoff year for Something Awful? Because that's something like I never fucking experienced, and I started, I was
2013, I think. I mean,
when low
tax lost control of the website.
For age of being born, I'm saying.
Something Awful is before. Listen, real quickly. Before 9/11 and the internet 1.0, like there were two websites that sort of set the trajectory for the internet as we know it. One was Something Awful, the other was Portal of Evil. Portal of Evil was like internet atrocity tourism where everyone kind of like stood behind a guardrail and went, oh my fucking God, James, do you fucking see this? He just won't stop eating fucking pancakes.
And this was in the user. This was even before Rotten, if I recall.
Right. It was internet atrocity tourism, but it had a prime directive. It meant like you weren't supposed to fuck with the ecosystem. just watch.
Just observe, like
Right,
an alien
yes.
race looking
Right.
at humanity on
While-
Earth.
while-
Exactly.
While Something Awful did not have a prime directive, and like Moot, Christopher Poole was a
Base.
Something Awful goon. Like
Yeah.
he like something.
Then he got
Awful-
disenfranchised, and then he
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, by the way, Moot is proof you can't hang out with your fans once you hit a certain point of infamy. but anyways,
Then
like,
Lotax went after. No, but I must say before you go on, Stains, just to be fair though, I mean 4chan did abandon that directive as well by actively creating various incidences. I mean throughout the years, obviously.
Like so the weird thing is that, like, by the way, the very first meme that took off, "All your base are belong to us," according to legend, the FBI interviewed Lotax because they were like, "Is this like a coded message? Why is everyone around the
Yeah.
world watching this thing? Like, what is the significance of it?" And like Lotax had to get in touch with the guy who made it and be like, "Can you just fucking explain to him it's a video game and you remixed the music and you added funny pictures to it? Because that's what people do on the internet." Like, so
For all you kiddies out there that watch reaction YouTubers and commentary people, this is what brought you modern commentary YouTube. Like there's a direct line from Something Awful 4chan and then what we have nowadays.
Yeah,
I mean, the thing about all of this too, though, that's like the cherry on top, unfortunately, is that all these people who were edgy 2016 and prior,
Yeah.
all those people, if the culture changes again, they'll totally flip and be okay with it.
Oh
you know?
yeah, of course.
I see that.
On
And
that
just-
note, I don't
It's
mean to
true.
derail. I must dip. It has been a pleasure, fellas.
Noah,
Oh, no,
Hugbox.
we always
Homie.
love having you on the show.
A
No,
pleasure,
pleasure
always a
as
pleasure.
always.
Have a
Guys,
great evening,
follow
fellas.
follow Noah Hugbox on Twitter if you have not done so already.
Follow his
Noah
YouTube
is a
channel.
legendary creator, and I know that you are going to go into some high places in the world, and I really appreciate you spending time here, brother. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it, man. You guys have a good rest of the stream. Goodbye.
Adios.
Goodbye.
Thank you, my friend. And please, yeah.
By the way, this is going to be okay. This is going to be good time to chill right now. So patreon.com/breaktherules. This is definitely legit. For all the new people who do not know what this is, by the way, my feet are in a bed of spikes right now. My feet are on this thing called a Shakti mat.
board.
Yeah, it hurts like hell, but it's worth it. But anyway, this is definitely legit. Bark, bark, bark.
Oh,
I am definitely legit. Bark, bark, bark.
That's for a $20 patron tier.
Yes,
But-
this is for
but-
$20 patrons, and if you become a $5 patron, you are going to get access to secret parts of our Discord, videos that just came out. Gio, we did a video about the Shizo post that was done on our Discord, and that is exclusively for patrons, as well as other secret streams for
You get
patrons
to
only.
see the full MK Ultra files on Jules, like the full experiment breakdown.
Well, he's
Well,
been going.
nothing's
Speaking of
redacted.
schizo posting, anyways,
Oh, one last thing, Gio. In regards to the Something Awful goons, a lot of what evolved into, like, what was later called as like social justice and a lot of like progressive like talking points.
Yeah.
That originated. I don't know if it was entirely ironic or not, but weird Twitter started on Something Awful.
it did.
and
Yeah,
and
Chapo
and-
came after.
it basically resembled like B if it was moderated by unfunny cat ladies from Brooklyn. That's what weird Twitter resembled. And you and it's weird
It's true.
because like these people ended up like you mentioned, to bring it back to what you said, Gio, they end up in positions where like they're verified, they have audiences, they have columns, and then their full-time job became saying things that are objectively false and then calling anyone who corrects them on it as a harassment. And you know what the saddest part is? Like, not every like for every dude like Justin Wang, who's like a stand-up guy, there
Yeah.
are 99
Yo, shout out to
verified.
Justin Wang, the absolute
Yeah.
fucking goat.
Dude, listen, Justin.
We're gonna have
Justin
him on
Wang,
the show one day.
He's
we
a top,
will. Around November, he said that. Well, anyway, I'm not going to
speak
get
of
into
the
it right now,
devil.
but
he's a top shelf guy, but for every Justin Wang, there are 99 blue ticks that are nothing more but like shoe shine boys for the elites pushing social engineering from the top down. And I know elites is such a like corny term to hear, but what else do you call people
Is it,
pushing
though?
social
I mean, it's
engineering
true.
from the top down?
They do have social power.
You're
oh
not
my
wrong.
god, these spikes
But I
hurt
wanted
so
to-
much.
I wanted to ask.
Well, no, we got to do Patreon. We got to
Yeah,
do
that-
Patreon.
Yeah.
I did not do the
Yeah.
full thing. Okay, so
So,
anyway, $5
$20
$5 patrons get all that I said plus MP3 files that we come out with of the videos that we do here. Anyway, $20 are gonna get magnets like this created by my father. This is beautiful cherry wood over here. Definitely legit. Bark, bark, bark. Rough, rough, rough. And random magnets. If you want, definitely no. Actually, this one's going soon to a patron who was actually at your party, James. Believe it or not.
Oh,
So,
yeah?
Is the animation playing right now, Love? We can't see it, but
no, it's gonna be playing in a bit. And by the way, everybody subscribe, and keep subscribing. The patron is Dick Pill Cyborg 7.
Base.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
base.
AKA his display name is Cool Man on Twitter.
That's
He's a good
right.
dude. He's a
That's
good
right.
dude.
Base.
thank you. Yes.
And for $30, you are going to get a beautiful print from Giovanni Pennacchietti. You could see it in action. The chat can't, but you can. It's an exquisite print from the TFW No GF series. And for
1 of 5, you will get a random
Yes.
one. It won't be that. It may not be that one, but it'll be other ones of Hugging Wojak, Buff Wojak. What was the other ones I had? It was basically just Wojak. I did Japanese wood block prints of. But they're all good. I might send you 2 if they're the small ones.
Yes.
So,
And for $50, you get all of the above. Plus, you are going to get a custom a custom magnet of whichever design you want, within reason, of course. And you are also.
so if you're a size king,
Yeah.
you may want a dick magnet.
Yeah,
But that's
Exactly.
maybe
No,
Love's father might, on a good day, be persuaded to carve one out. But you will also get another painting by me in the Bob Ross style. They're
Mhm.
not that big, but they are a full painting. And you will also get a poster print of any episode that you want. So if you wanted a poster of Turkey Tom that we have for this banner, that Lev and his father, they both design it, each banner for each episode. Or if you want the Brittany Venti stream, if you want a poster of Brittany Venti, if you want a poster of a Styx Hexenhammer, if you want to post.
Well, you know what? My dad may be able to draw a custom version of Turkey Tom, half man, half turkey. So some kind of.
I like the thumbnail a lot, by the way. Very nice.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, I knew that you had nothing to do with turkeys other than the fact that you were called Turkey Tom, but I decided.
Which is why you had to put it all over.
Exactly. I had to make up for that fact.
Hey, it was either the turkeys or like a picture of you chugging wild turkey while driving on the wrong side of the road. All right, but you have to make decisions, Tom. I'm sorry.
I almost want to see both of them, to be honest. They both sound.
But you know what makes me feel a little bit bad, and you guys can actually see this right now since I'm gonna put it in my second OBS window. So you guys see this big picture, right? So
Yep.
do you see over here on the side? There are
by
these
the way,
two
if you want to become a $50 patron, that's I mean, we'll bend the rules. We'll probably make a Sun Red magnet just for the hell of it. I mean,
I
it's
have
not
no
as
idea.
bad as
Send
the
you nudes
swastika.
if you become a.
I have no idea
$50
what
patron.
I have
If
no
you
idea
become-
what center red means, Gio. You're
if you become a $100 Patreon, Gio will personally pistol whip your nemesis to death on the steps of the church.
Kind of like Henry Hill, Goodfellas style.
Oh yeah, no, his poor wife.
oh.
The best part is he turns that dude's face into ground beef, and the first thing he says when he returns is, "Are you all right?" Like, of course she's all right, you fucking stunad.
Oh, and to a fallen student, I should color some of them.
Yes.
I used to do that before, but I'm going to probably switch to woodcuts that have a very clear design outline, so I could probably do individual watercolor prints.
So
'cause,
this is
doing color blocks is a very complicated process, and frankly, I'm too sloppy with all the registration marks to do actual color blocks.
And by the way, I posted the link to the Patreon in the chat right now. Here it is for all the lazy people. You can just click on that link, become a patron right now. I know you want to, I know you need to, and you're also going to have lunch with me, just like what's going to be happening with Cool Man. Cool Man is going to be having lunch with me. I'm going to pay for the lunch. That's happening in Brooklyn. So for anybody who wants to have lunch with me and James Healy, I don't
Yo,
need
I'll
to
come.
just... Yeah, he'll
I'll
come.
be there.
You guys
Better
have
bring
to
a
split
towel.
the check.
Yes,
oh,
we
and a
probably
Brit-
will.
We
Brittany,
only
someone
split
is
the check if
requesting-
Lev starts giving me super chat money. So
Yeah,
Someone was
we'll work something
I
out.
don't even get super chat money.
Damn.
So okay, so over here,
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys something. People, okay, what do you think of these two over here in the background? Because we have a lot of stuff going on in this picture. Obviously, we have Turkey Tom looking at all the beautiful turkeys.
I love how
that
you
are
gave
in
him
the
a
fourth
rainbow
wall.
glasses. That's like
Yeah, well,
the
that's
rainbow
inspired
pants.
by MkUltramoney.
Vipers.
And I
Oh,
gave
yeah.
sort of a pipped viperish thing to Brittany over here with her glasses. And there's this turkey that's in love with her, but this is actually a female turkey probably. But this is the only one that worked out as far as composition goes. And of course we have a meerkat. I know, Brittany, what do you think of the meerkat? Do you vibe with the meerkat?
They're okay.
Okay.
Oh,
And we have a little
Lev
baby.
put so much thought into it.
I like regular cats more.
Okay,
There you go,
whatever.
based.
And here we have the baby turkey. This is what a baby turkey looks like. And
Someone
he's...
said in the chat, imagine some hunter mistaking a furry for some actual animal. Well, I think that there should be a open season. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to finish that thought.
Of course, Noah Hugbox inside of his, I was about to say cum box inside of his little...
You got his YouTubes in there?
Yeah, the jar. And this greedy looking turkey over here, you know, just like looking at it, what is over here. And then we have the Monster Energy can, of course, you know, there we go.
Thanks.
And up here, these two are very... Oh, and by the way, there's some mushrooms over here because the turkey tails reminded me of mushrooms. So I decided just to put some mushrooms over here. And we have these two fellas.
Lev was on mushrooms.
This is like Finding Waldo.
It is kind of like, this is the badger over here, and this is... Can you guys guess what skull this is?
A turkey skull? No. You said this, a koala. You said this yesterday. I forget.
No,
the full screen.
Sure. 1 second. Yeah. This is not in full screen. And everybody subscribe, by the way. Everybody who's watching, subscribe. Okay, here it is. You could see it in full screen.
We've had some really big guests. We're a small channel, but we've had some amazing guests from politicians, YouTubers, journalists.
I mean, I'm impressed how to me it's
literal
always been
porn
like
stars.
To me it's always been like the McLaughlin group of the 21st century. Like on one evening,
or firing
someone
line.
right, like from one evening, it's like someone from the World Economic Forum. The next day, it's Queen's Trash in a mask, and then the day after that, it's Frank Hassel and one of 7 people on Earth who can read minds.
Yeah, the other day I was like catching up on a little bit of the show while I was editing, and there was like some bitch that does real estate you had on, and that's like her thing. Like, what is going on? Like, it's such a motley crew.
Yeah.
No, we have a lot of very very different people.
On a few episodes as well.
Yeah.
So that's,
we had Frank Castle, we had Charles Carroll, we had Alexander Bard, like I mentioned for those who know him. We had Tony Hinchcliffe of Kill Tony fame, a good friend of Joe Rogan's.
Oh, wow.
We've had Dennis McKenna on, who's the brother of Terrence McKenna, the well-known mushroom guy. We've had the creator of Earthworm Jim, Doug Tenapel, on. We've had a lot of very big guests.
And we're gonna have even more bigger. We're gonna have
Hotep Jesus.
Yes.
He's
and
coming.
Jason Reza Giorgiani.
Yes.
And we're gonna have some fire debates. So I mean, who else are we gonna have pretty big, Lev? I mean, Justin Wang, that's probably gonna be down the pipe.
Well,
What's
actually,
he
I'll tell you. What's he mass debating? Well, I'll tell you who we're going to have this Tuesday. We're going to have Jack Murphy coming on this Tuesday.
Oh.
Here's the link right in the chat. So all you guys be sure to set a reminder for the Jack Murphy
I have
stream.
to listen to more Jack Murphy. I did listen to his BAP interview. He was the only one to interview BAP. That was, but is he a veteran, Lev, or what's that connection?
I'm not sure, but we are going to have a veteran there, named Tom Sauer, who's frequently on our show, and he's a former Navy bomb squad, so that should be a lot of fun. But
bring back John Pellich. Yes, we will bring.
Yes,
I actually do want to talk to John Pellich. He had this great phone call with Pill Eater, but I don't know, they had to delete it. But I mean, I feel bad because John Pellich is a good friend. And I do want to bring him back, and he's a great dude. And we've had the legendary stream, the 2 parts where it's me and you, Lev, John Pellich, Alexander Bard, Logo de Atlas, Joel Davis, and now the newest edition, Paul Town. That stream,
yes.
I literally cried after that stream. That was so amazing. That was last month.
And also, by the way, the thing to understand regarding our streams, Tom, is that we also bring on political operatives. Like, there was a comment over here about how we've had feds on other than Lev, because a lot of people happen to think that I'm a fed.
We did literally have someone from the World Economic Forum.
Yes, we had a dude from the World Economic Forum. Like, Tom, have you heard about the Great Reset?
I'm aware of the term, and I kind of am somewhat familiar with it because I watched,
like with the memes,
Joe
like
Rogan, and
you will eat the bugs, you will live in the pod, all that shit. So, or you will own nothing and be happy, that kind of stuff.
We literally had a guy that said that on stream.
Yeah, and he was one of the people who helped in orchestrating the takedown of Gaddafi in Libya. according to
Yeah,
him.
I mean, you want to talk about great reset? I go to college, so I'm basically already there. I live in a pod. I eat bugs. Like, what? I'm already there. You know, like the
And
dorms are not much bigger.
And what's the experience?
Yeah, dorms are like the preparation for pod life in the future.
Absolutely. And what's your experience with college right now? How? I mean, I'm such a dead fucking horse, but how woke is college? What's going on?
I mean, obviously, I can't speak for every college. I will say, going into it, you know, because I'm not an overtly political person. For the most part, I don't care. I will say, however, this is probably going to be like music to your ears, but really people on the right, music to their ears. But when I went to school, I expected this whole like, you know, the Marxist infiltration thing to be like a total meme, but it's absolutely there. Like when I was there, like I had 5 classes each semester, and out of my professors, I think 4 of them were like openly talking about like how capitalism was bad and how socialism is the way forward. And like there was this very like like somehow every class turned into a discussion about how like black people have it really hard and how like slavery is involved with everything. And I totally was not like, I didn't say anything about it because I don't, you know, I'm not really a person to start fights IRL. I'm not going to go up to my professors and be like, you know, and fuck you for this, because like I don't have nothing to gain from that. I just want to go to school, get my degree, and get out. But that is absolutely there, you know.
Do you mind sharing your major, or is it too OPSEC or?
Yeah, I can say that. I'm in so technically I think, okay, I won't say my specific degree, but it's in the realm of journalism. So yeah.
Okay, maybe
that's funny.
I'm sensing a C word there, but yes, I'm guessing like media.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
a
communications isn't the name of my major, but I'm in that school.
Okay,
I'm actually planning to transfer soon, but no, I definitely am in there. Yeah.
I think capitalism is bad, but for different reasons.
Yes, indeed. But we're also going to have people who are associated with FAIR, the Foundation Against Intolerance and Racism, which is one of the few organizations that's actually fighting against a lot of this critical race theory stuff. But they're coming at it from more of like attracting a lot of the fence sitters, you know, more of the people who don't really know what exactly to do right now. A lot more normie, you know, ish, a lot more, you know, kind of like older people, I guess you could say. But they still have...
Is your dream going to come true and we're going to have Barry Weiss on? Is that?
Oh, God, I hope.
Saying?
I hope. Yeah, I hope it's going to happen.
God, no.
But honestly, the more like enlightening and funny thing about school is like, I just have 2 more kind of anecdotes to share.
Yeah,
firstly, we had a whole like 3-class thing in one of my classes about Gamergate, which is like a totally revisionist thing.
Yes.
Like it was a totally revisionist thing where like the oversimplification of it.
Brittany was there.
The complete simplification of it was like I was literally just being explained to how like Anita Sarkeesian and Zoe Quinn were harassed, and that's the only thing to it, and that's the only thing I was told about it.
You're already revising history this close.
I had, yeah. And the other funny thing is like, as a person who like, I've been doing like YouTube actively, I guess, since I was like 14, like as like on the channel that I'm on now. And I've been doing it like I guess professionally for like a year and a half. And like I like in these classes, like none of these professors are telling me anything I don't know from just like going on the internet, you know.
They
like,
talk about the radicalization pipeline.
Yeah, no, they have talked about that. Yep.
Oh wow!
But
when it applies to BreadTube, though, that doesn't exist. It's only.
I've been shown that one. You know that bubble thing where like there's like all these overlapping things, and they're talking about how like the various creators. Yeah, true. So that I was shown that on like a big graph. I've been explained to about like YouTube algorithms and radicalization, all of that.
So you'll go from Jordan Peterson to I don't know. You'll go whoever is left. Millennial Woes got taken off again. Finally.
Yeah, I mean it's so weird being someone who like is like pretty familiar with this stuff and even knows a few people because I have a pretty wide like range of connections, I would say.
Yeah.
But like I've it's so funny like hearing about like Milo and Baked Alaska in my fucking college classes.
Hey Tom, did they cover 8chan at all in this ordeal?
Definitely not federal information. No, never mind. Yeah,
I get told about definitely a brief summary of 4chan because I had to take a class. I don't remember what the name of it was, but it was like
for this.
I don't pay much. I got a pretty good scholarship, so it's not bad.
Yeah. Monday. Someone said Monday Matt grifted GG. Yes, it's true. I mean, everyone was grifting Gamergate at the time.
I mean, basically the reason why I'm getting a degree is because if by some miracle YouTube doesn't work out, not miracle, it's possible YouTube won't work out in the next like 3-4 years. Basically, I'll be able to get like a shitty job and just survive off of that.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I'm getting the degree in the first place. But yeah, I mean, basically everything they're telling me is like, from the political side, it's very revisionist. From the production side, some of it's cool. Like I get to like rent out equipment if I want and stuff like that. That's definitely one of the bigger pluses. But yeah, definitely it's very cringe. Kind of like sitting through this like revisionist shit about like what Joe Rogan having Ben Shapiro on his podcast. Like I really don't need to like be told this.
But all of them like on the show, we are good. A good friend of mine, a good friend of the show, is Eggman, and he's been on multiple times. And Eggy, and they say that he's part of the radicalization bullshit. But but I also wanted to ask Brittany about it. But go ahead, Stain Haynes.
But
you wanted to...
just real quick.
Oh, sorry,
I just wanted to say, Tom, I wish you the best of intelligence in all your studies, because luck runs up when we need it the most. The only regret I have from college is that like nothing takes a person's enthusiasm for books away quicker than being tested, graded, and evaluated on what you can willingly retain. So, Tom, when you're done with school, pretend to be surprised when now that you're reading for shit that has nothing to do with tests, and you're gonna like, you have to reacclimate yourself to reading for you. And like, some people could do it immediately. Like, it took me a while, and it sucked because like you can't, like, it's like you end up reading, but like you have to shake off the, shouldn't I be taking notes about this? Should I be highlighting this? Should I be like underlining this? And it's like, you fucking jerk, you're reading a Watchmen comic book. You don't need to do this.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about it is that for the degree I'm in, like I basically don't really have to do any like biology or anything like that. And boring shit. I skip that. I only do the shit I like, and I'm like an English nerd. I like that.
Nice. So I like know that about you.
Yeah, and I get to take the classes that are like, about movies and stuff, and that's cool. Regardless of the professor's cringe, college isn't all bad. There are some good things about it. And the good thing about it as well is like I'm not paying a ridiculous amount of money to go. I got a pretty good scholarship. I'm in a pretty good position financially.
Grad school is different. I have two MAs. I didn't make it to the PhD
Well, your
level.
teachers aren't around anymore, from what I understand, right, Gio?
A lot
Like
of them retired. Yeah,
you got to have like the end of like the last really high quality.
My university, without doxing myself, but if you could think of the universities around Niagara, I mean, you probably know which one I went to. But apparently, it's totally changed from when I went there.
Well, as I understand,
Did you go in the U.S.?
No, I'm in the Canadian side.
If I understand correctly, Gio's professor's not around anymore because he killed them in duels, like in the old
That's true. I had a debate with a professor. It was nice, but no, Tom, I wanted to get to Brittany about the radicalization narrative.
But first, I wanted to ask Tom, what is like a favorite English novel of yours, or like something
stole
related
my question,
to?
You bastard! Yeah, favorite literature.
That's revenge
Tom.
for always adding the supplements to my questions.
That's true. That's. Oh, we could talk about Britney Spears as well, but go ahead, Tom. Yeah.
It's funny. I do more writing than reading, but the last book that I read that I thought was really, really good was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I like that one a lot.
Oh,
that's great.
Nice.
Another book I recommend just because I read it recently, The Count of Monte Cristo. It's not English literature. I mean, it's French, but translated to English, but it's really good. So if
I think I have it in my house. My dad, from his dad, has like 100 Reader's Digest books, basically, from like I think it's like a 1975 collection, and it's just a ridiculous amount of like some of the most probably important books in the evolution of writing. In the past like 300 years. So I have all those. So that's probably in there. Yeah, I'll have to give it a read. Thank you.
I suggest reading some Herman Hesse, some Glass Bead Game, or Siddhartha. I think you'd like those books.
Sure, yeah. The last book I read after that was for college. I read this book about like the history of gun control, which despite some of the political cringe in it was pretty good. I enjoyed it as a read. But definitely for school, I would say that the amount of like studying I have to do is so minimal because like the questions sometimes would be like what happened with the knee circuit? Like I know the answer they're looking for,
Yeah.
Like you don't really have to know the knowledge.
Have you read Bronze Age Mindset?
I have not, no.
Oh, you should. I think
no, Gio. First, let him read. Let him read some. Let him read some real books first, okay? Before moving on.
Some real books. Oh, don't say you're gonna torpedo our chances of ever getting Bronze Age pervert.
I can. Look, I'm sure even he'd appreciate people reading the classics first. Like Plato, Aristotle, all that stuff. But
are
anyway,
you alluding to his never mind.
Okay,
Lev.
okay.
The
I want to.
conspiracy
I'm not saying anything. Okay, I want to get to
The
Brittany
fact
about
that
the
Bronze
radical.
Age pervert and in his wisdom may be a bit of a sussy one. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, no, I think Lev is alluding to a particular other e-celebrity that accuses BAP of being a, what is it, a neocon Straussian that wants people to read the classics in order to have war with Iran or something. I mean, that's what some
no,
schizo
no. I wasn't alluding
who
to
shall
that. I was
not be
just saying.
named.
I was just saying not enough people read the classics today
It's
because
true, it's true.
old white dead men, you know. But anyway, I want to get to Brittany about radicalization. But first, I want to ask Tom: were there any people that the school was bringing up as paragons of, like, you know, this is what a YouTuber should be, this is what an influencer should be like so and so? Was that ever brought up? Were there like people within?
Yeah, I mean, my major is more centered around like journalism and stuff like that. So there wasn't a lot of like bringing up like the online influencers were addressed because I had a whole class that was like, you know, internet media stuff in the digital age. So mostly like the bigger examples we were given wasn't so much like there was talk about like how to responsibly manage a platform, definitely with like the political thing. I think that the weird transition from, you know, high school to college was in high school, all of my teachers were very like professional about it. Like they didn't want to bring up their political, you know, position. Whereas in college, it's completely the opposite. Like they're completely open with it. I had to take easily the most fucking infuriating class I had to take was about it was an activist music class. And I was required to take that. I had to take one social science, and it was like either like the history of like African civilization or like African studies, or I could take that. And I was like, okay, well, I like music, so I'll take this. But like definitely like sitting through the portion about how like John Lennon's Imagine is like an amazing piece of music. I was just sitting there and I was like, I feel like I should not be in this room right now, you know?
Oh God, that song, right, like that is the Great Reset, in my opinion. That is nihilism personified. And people, there's some like boomers who cope that say he was like a secret conservative. That's all bullshit. John Lennon's Imagine is basically the live in the pod, eat the bugs for hippies.
Yeah.
That's what.
And instead of that, imagine having a beautiful cat like Brittany does. Look at that beautiful animal right there.
What is that? What is the cat's name?
Rain.
HP Lovecraft.
Oh,
by the way, calls it that when the stream is off.
By the way, John
no, that's
Lennon,
just the name. It's HP Lovecraft. It's
John Lennon was the dirtiest hippie of the bunch, and no one ever brings up that he beat his wife and cheated on her regularly. And he's held up as some sort of like the apotheosis of musical activist, dirty, filthy jerk off. And like, I get it. Him and McCartney, blah blah blah. The Beatles are overrated, but George Harrison is where it's at. All right, George Harrison.
He's got some
was
good
the
ones.
best Beatle. But very quickly before I forget, oh no, Brittany vanished. The cat took over the stream.
Definitely from that collection of like artists, I definitely.
But yeah, Brittany, your camera is on the fritz. By the way, everybody support Brittany financially so she could get a better computer, because.
Yeah, it's old. I've had it for quite a few years.
Yeah,
I guess the processor's kicking out.
Everyone talks about how shitty their computers are. I'm on a laptop. I've been doing YouTube on a laptop for like 4 years.
No,
I have
a
God!
Wow.
Whoa.
Not bad.
Do you
I have a great
editing
computer.
Your videos, or do you edit everything yourself?
No, it's all edited by me. Yeah.
Holy crap!
Pretty good.
Attaboy.
I feel bad with my own YouTube channel, Giant Art Productions at youtube.com. Giant Art Productions. I'm gonna come out with a video tomorrow on that hideous Humans of Flat Design banner that YouTube had with the poly androgynous people. I'm doing another art analysis video, but no, it's crazy because your videos, the editing on it is superb, and I feel like the way the certain illusions you have to certain figures, like you'll have almost like, you know how Emp Lemon, he'll like have illusions to different like episodes of The Simpsons or Sam Hyde, or it's like I like when you do like that sort of extra, you go the extra mile for that.
There's some subliminal messages in there, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I mean, you can basically just figure out like what musicians or like artists I'm a fan of, or like online content creators. Definitely the funny thing about YouTube and this whole kind of conversation is like the other day I was in like my creator studio and I like filled out this like survey just to see what it was about, because usually I don't do them, and the survey was like literally the only like question, like box was like, "Are you black or trans?" And I'd be like, "No," and they're like, "Thank you," and that was it. Like, and actually, the other question was like, if you are from some interesting category, are you interested in being like selected to take part in programs? And it's just like, I don't. Like I feel like totally fucked with like, why don't I get the special treatment?
Wait, wait, just real quickly, did they now, was it black or trans, or did they have like a fourth category that said black?
So I think I'm being a
trans?
little reductive. The actual questions were like, it was like asking you to fill out like what your ethnicity and sexual orientation is, and then it was like, do you consider yourself part of like a protected class, and that was like the survey. Yeah.
And I want to make sure we get to Brittany before Gio. You had the question you want to ask Brittany about radicalization.
Brittany, what do you
but also over here, I want to show you guys this. This is called a Shakti mat, and I was
I
lying
think I
on
saw
this
in the Tournament of Death once.
I was lying on this crazy thing today. Earlier on. It feels really painful at first, but then it feels really good.
I'm pretty sure I saw Hayabusa put Mr. Pogo through one of those things.
Yeah,
in death match.
that was in Hokkaido. Like I think '96 was with Mr. Pogo. That was just when they jumped off to BJW from FMW. But did you see the one Stain? Did you see the one with Madman Pondo where he takes it was like a board of styrofoam, but it had sharpened pencils.
Yes.
And he told this story
where
he went to a Mets game after, and there was a piece of lead still stuck in his left cheek, and it was uncomfortable as fuck because he had to sit there for hours watching a baseball game with this fucking piece of lead in his ass.
Why does my cheek hurt? And no one said you got some shit on your face, dude. Damn.
And they were saying like every wrestler in the Tournament of Death, they go behind when the fans bring the weapons. They like go to the row, and they're like, "I'm not doing that, no way." But then Madman Pono's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do the board of pencils, sharpened pencils."
Sweet Jesus.
Lev, maybe you could stand it on some sharpened pencils. That could be.
Well, I was standing on this thing actually. This is why I was making the grimaces earlier on. So I was standing with my bare feet on these spikes, and I think I can work myself up to doing it again.
My uncle used to do that. He used to train judo, but he was into a lot of energy training. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know me. I'm into the energy training, the Kundalini, all that good stuff. But anyway, let's go back to Brittany.
Yeah, Brittany, what do you think as someone who's been at the center of this, like from Gamergate onwards? What do you think of like this sort of like? I mean, it seems that with mainstream support and with Sweet Susan banning everybody,
sometimes Sweet Susan,
it seems that like the heydays of the alt-light and alt-right on YouTube. I mean, Internet Blood Sports was really the last gasp. And by the way, Turkey Tom, maybe we could talk about the Ralph of Mail. I know you covered it once, the more recent podcast, but it seems like that was the last gasp of it. But it's now that BreadTube has pretty much ensured their stake in the YouTube landscape. What do you think as someone, Brittany, of like someone who's definitely a very polarizing figure and who's been involved in this since day one? What do you think of like the radicalization narrative? Do you think it's just like an ideological tool, or do you think there's something to be said about a kid watching one of your videos, then watching Jordan Peterson, then I don't know, watching what's a good example? It's still around, like watching Vox Day, then they watch Vox Day, then they watch I don't know. I'm thinking of an alt-right YouTuber.
Molly Meme.
Well, yeah, they'll watch Molyneux, then he's banned now, but like then they'll watch, I don't know, No White Guilt or someone. I don't know, like it's like they'll watch they'll go from they'll go from Molyneux to like the right stuff in like 0 seconds.
Jeez. Oh my god, I'm standing on that. Oh, I'm standing on the bed of spikes. Whew.
Oh man. But Brittany, what do you think of the radicalization thing? And also, what has been your interaction with various what's your opinion on like YouTubers nowadays, especially like commentary? Like, do you think like now that the BreadTubers have taken over, like what's your general feel of the whole thing? I know you have a quite an interesting relationship with certain BreadTubers, but interactions. I mean,
who are you referencing when you say that? Shuwu?
Yeah, Shuwu.
Oh.
I mean, that was a great video, by the way. I love that video. And if Shuwu wants to come on the show, we'd be totally open But yeah, go ahead, Brady. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think she's gonna come on the show, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Like even when I made videos on her, the most she did was write a text response, and it wasn't really like addressing my points. And her rebuttals were pretty dumb. Like when I called her uwu, which is basically inauthentic cuteness, it's in a way of pandering, and she was like, but like girls have to like cute things. That was her rebuttal to that. So things like that. But in regard to the like going down the rabbit hole in politics, there was a lot of questions you asked. So I guess who's left? The only people I could think of, it's like maybe like Lauren Southern and Sam Hyde. He has a new channel I saw.
Oh wow.
That have been there since the beginning, so to speak. And I guess Richard Spencer is always there, right? But I never really like consumed his stuff. Like I've seen him in a documentary saying he was basically a Democrat.
I mean, he's a Fed, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like, he's literally glowing so hard that I can see him from my New York apartment.
Yeah, I mean, I never knew anyone that actually like genuinely. Actually, I can't say that, but like most people that get referred to as being on the right, most of them did not align with Richard Spencer at all.
Yeah, because he's a Fed and he was a psyop the whole time.
Yeah, but they like
of course no one liked him.
I think even people within the far right circles, they've sort of he's pretty much alienated a lot of different people. He's even alienated a lot of white nationalists. But I mean,
what
about but
and what about Eric Stryker with the?
I don't know. I mean, TRS they kind of go. They're like some of them have been actually really burned by Richard Spencer. Believe it, not to gossip, but I don't know Eric Stryker's position that well on Richard Spencer. I mean, they've done streams together, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to gossip, but I think Shuan had. I think she's not evil. She seems like she's kind of desperate and lost. I wouldn't say she's not as much of a bad actor as as other ones. Thoughts on, but Vouch. I think she really, I mean, you could call her a shameless grifter and all of that. Yeah.
I don't know. I think she has a hate boner for women too. She's always, and then always taking their side, always caping for them. Even when it's like completely unnecessary, she'll just throw it in there. And also you say she's not evil, but like I was watching Zaptai's video on her and I remembered it, like triggered a memory. I was like, oh yeah, she did help Candid. The thing that helped them develop an AI to help censor people. Oh yeah, you literally.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate Shuan Head. I don't really have a lot of ill will towards her. I'm gonna be in a video with her. I think coming up pretty soon, so that should be interesting. But I think she makes funny videos sometimes. Yeah, I mean that's all I can say. I like her Twitter.
I have a question. I've not watched any of her videos because I just watch very few YouTubers in general. But so I just know her going off of Twitter. But like other than like her defending and being friends with Vouch, I've never seen her like do anything really that bad or reprehensible.
Well, I mean, she has done things in her past. I mean,
so if you guys are against like the LGBT propagating like hypersexuality, meaning like when they walk around with dildos and push it on kids and things like that.
There was a recent debate with a kink article in Washington Post. Yeah.
So if you guys
I'm pretty sure I saw her take on that. She I think she got in some shit because she was like against the whole kink thing, right? She had some arguments with people.
Yeah, so it doesn't really make sense because she was broadcasting about her 24/7 BDSM kinky relationship and always talking about this hypersexual stuff to her kid audience. So.
Brittany, I have a question.
That's a fair point.
Has she been of that perspective out the gate since day one, or was there some turning point where she started going, oh, well, this is the greatest thing ever since men came down from Manville and started the man colony?
Like, I will say, though,
she's always pandered to men. That's been consistent, but she's grifted in other ways.
Okay. Gotcha.
I hate to say it, but principles are a funny thing, but I think that in some ways, I mean, she does kind of have pick me energy. That is kind of
she's she's like the epitome. She made a tweet saying, imagine it, or I'm paraphrasing, but she was like, when her age starts with a 3 and then like she turned 30 and had her fiance break up with her, or she broke up with him, whatever, after he like went and cuffed
he got
her
a
and,
younger
like, jerks off
version
the cam
of
girls.
her.
Yeah, and liking all these cam girls publicly on Twitter. It's like disrespectful and embarrassing. So like
I don't know any of that about him. I do know that he used to follow me on Twitter and then he unfollowed me and I was like, fuck you, so I blocked him. He never gets to talk to me ever again.
Nothing is lost.
No,
that's the thing though. All these people like they follow me and unfollow me on Twitter, and it's like, okay, you know, maybe you didn't like, maybe I made an edgy tweet, maybe I made a video you didn't like, whatever. And then like they unfollow me and then I like unfollow them or I block them. They're like, what the fuck, man? I thought we were cool. It's like, fuck you. Who do you think
Yeah,
you are?
Wait, people
Like,
have really said that to you after they unfollowed you first?
Yes, yeah. There's one guy on YouTube. His name is like Goose Boos. He followed me. I didn't know anything about him. I followed him back. I was like, okay, whatever. We can be mutuals on Twitter. Because usually if someone with a lot of followers follows me, it's like, okay, I'll take the connection. Maybe I'll check them out at some point in the future. And then he like unfollowed me. So, or I think he soft blocked me or something. And so I like blocked him. And then later I get like this reply from him where he's like talking about, he's like, oh, it's so weird. Like, what the hell? They like unfollowed me on Twitter and like blocked me after I unfollowed them. It's like, who does that? And I'm like, bro, everyone does that. Everyone on Twitter does that. Like, who the fuck do you think you are?
Although, it is a little like, it is a little tricky when you don't realize someone has unfollowed you because you don't get a notification for that. However, like there is always a tinge of disappointment where it's like, oh, like we've been mutuals for like a year and a half. Like I like your shit. Like and then you start thinking like, what did I say or do that made them like respond this way?
Like Turkey Tom followed me, and I'm like, damn, that's amazing. What did I fucking do?
But then right. But then the weird part is that like all right, like someone sees the crap I post, and then they're like, oh. All right, like I'm partial to that nonsense. Let's check it out. And then like you unfollow me because I posted the nonsense you followed me for in the first place. Oh man, like
yeah, it's like I don't treat it that seriously. I guess I understand what you're saying. I don't care about it that much. I think for me it's more of like a meme than anything. That like if you if you unfollow me, you better be ready for the block because you only get your one chance. That's
I mean, think of what it could have been. Think of what it could have been though. Goose Boos. Turkey Tom, and finally we have John Swan. 3 birds of a feather flocking together.
Who is John Swan? Is he another Let's Player? What does he do?
He's a like a YouTube commentary guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you're friends with him, or what's the?
Yeah, I don't really talk to him anymore. Yeah, I don't talk to him anymore.
Okay.
He's a weird guy. There's videos about it on YouTube. Yeah, you can.
I've heard some allusions, but it's funny. I wanted to say something, Turkey Tom. A lot of the stuff that you talk about, I truly think like nothing is original under the sun, in the sense that a lot of this drama and fighting with YouTubers.
It's like at this point, like the drama is like a video about a video about a video about a video. It's so self-referential.
But what I mean with a lot of the comment. Well, what'd you say, Brittany?
Oh, I was just saying it's meta.
It is very meta. That's what I said. Maybe there was some previous antediluvian state of content, but then, but a lot of this drama, a lot of the YouTubers, especially out of Gamergate, a lot of this was perfected in terms of drama, infighting, and backstabbing during, guess what? Now that you mentioned Greg, Armored Skeptic, it was perfected during the, I was there. I hated those people. The atheist YouTube, the new Fedora tipper days, the new atheist YouTubers, they were, a lot of them are now hermetically sealed in their own, like, they're trying to relive 2007 every single day.
No, you're right. Back in the day, like Amazing Atheist around 2014, 15, a lot of that stuff, like the whole like video response thing, that was kind of solidified back in those days when, like there were all these like commentary, like they were mostly called like YouTube rants back then, I think. But a lot of that stuff kind of started.
Gio, I'm glad you brought up that because like no one ever like whenever like discussion of weirdo parody of a parody progressive topic politics or a topic. Like even before social justice, atheism plus was when it first
Rebecca Watson.
Like right,
Dawkins.
It ended up becoming like the first, I suppose, like modern example of something getting infiltrated and subverted. Because like in the 2000s, it was like Richard Dawkins this, Christopher Hitchens that, and
he was on an elevator with Rebecca Watson, and he said, "Can we go for coffee?" And she construed that as a sexual advance. But like Richard Dawkins been married to this actress for like 30 years or something.
Also, real quickly, like Christopher Hitchens as a writer and as a speaker, like say what you will about his views on like religion, like he didn't neatly fit into the left-right paradigm.
As a journalist, he was way better.
Which made it impossible to like use basic bitch like day one tactics of trying to like In fact, he was the guy who said like once they move on to the ad hominem, I declare that a victory. And like honestly, like that's incredibly based. But the point, real quickly, with in the 2000s, like atheism kind of gets like a revival. All right?
Yes.
And
yes.
it was weird how like Richard Dawkins I never liked because like kind of like how Anthony Fantano has garbage political takes, and that's basically most of what he does now, even though he's like a balding vegan nerd. Even though he's a balding vegan nerd who started out as like a music critic. So Dawkins started out as an evolutionary biologist, and then he was like, I'm just going to talk about religion now. And
which he like, not to take away from it, but Dawkins, he was stellar ahead of his field, even more so than people like Stephen Jay Gould at the time, who really was like the proto-popularizer. Dawkins came up with original concept. I mean, mimetic theory is Dawkins.
The selfish
right?
gene, the selfish gene is where. But the creepy thing is like then Dawkins turned into like this into like pseudo rock star, where like, okay, remember when you're
I remember those days.
Remember when you were in second grade and you learned subtraction for the first time, where like 11 minus 9, but up until that point you've only had single file subtraction. So now you have like 2 digits minus 1 digit, and because you haven't learned it yet, your brain is like 0. I don't know what the fuck this is. So that's basically what Dawkins did. He just applied an evolutionary biological framework to theological questions. And he's like, haha, I'm right again. Everything I say is right because I'm not even answering your question. I have a PhD. You don't. I'm right. And it's like, get the fuck out of here. Then Atheism Plus just infiltrated it and subverted it. And we've seen the same thing happen to like movies, metal, comic books, video games, like
pro wrestling.
Yes, it all
and
started
metal.
with
Metal. I mean, just the other day, today I tweeted this tweet about White Boy Summer and how we have to have the energy. It was a picture of Phil Anselmo when they were doing the Monsters of Rock, Monsters of Rock in Milan. That one project. I love that set. It was such a short set, but they were playing Rise, which is one of my favorite Pantera songs.
In another world, by the way, Richard Dawkins could have been a furry YouTube commenter called Richard Duckins. He could have been the duck avatar, and he would have joined the
Richard Foxins.
Richard Fox. There's a lot of furries that tried to cancel Richard Dawkins. I remember his tweet about gender identity. There was a lot of furry avatars that went after him.
How can furries cancel anything? They don't have a ground to stand on.
I mean, think about our stream. We had a furry stream.
You guys pee on each other's fursuits and then pump it, and then
just think of the dry cleaning people. By the way, there's some poor dry cleaning lady who has to get that shit and like try
the Howard Stern interview where he got the man on the street to interview in a furry con, and he's like, well, how do you have sex in your fursuit? He goes, yeah, but it's easier to let it dry. I could just peel off the crusties. And it's like, oh my God. That was a Howard Stern clip, yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh man, no, but we had a furry stream, Lev. You explained.
We should listen to those people for sure.
On politics, on raising your children, and public schools.
Hey! If I want to learn how to get Astroglide and self-loathing stains out of my fursuit, I'll talk to a furry. All right.
Nobody knows about Astroglide. Oh, Richard Hawkins, that's a good one. He could be.
Like imagine like an elegant looking.
Terrible.
Yes, it was terrible because we had this guy on who actually thought that the reason why we needed him was for his fucking audience. But anyway, the moment we had somebody on...
The moment he saw the chat.
Well, that's part of it. The moment you saw the chat, but also the moment that that our friend Vincent Void came on and said that he is personally an anti-fur, and he was still like very respectful. Everybody was respectful. We were treating him with kid fucking gloves.
It was actually a good conversation.
I wouldn't have been respectful if I was there. Just for let the record be known.
They should cage themselves.
I
mean, they're animals, right? They're furries belong to, voluntarily cage themselves.
But they need to go in a kennel.
Well, but animals don't want to be in the zoo, so animals are forced into the zoo.
They need to be put down because all Furbies have rabies.
Animals, leaving their diapers everywhere, how to pee on one another.
Here's one thing. Here's to all the furries out there. As Bronze Age Pervert says, only monkeys jerk off in captivity. So the furry jerking off, I mean, they're really in, as Saint Augustine says, Saint Paul, sin is a form of vice, it's a form of slavery. The furry is enslaved to their own sin. And so truly that's why only monkeys jerk off in captivity.
They're in the cage already, but you know what they should do? They should actually go out into the wild in the fursuit and just like become one with the rest of the animals. You know, that way they could see what it's actually like.
No. For the love of God, Lev. Then
They're just gonna fucking commit rape.
Park rangers. No, listen, James. Anything.
Yo, James, shut up.
James,
James,
YouTube,
shut up,
YouTube
please.
algorithm,
James,
YouTube
no,
algorithm,
please.
Yo, James.
YouTube algorithm.
Anything they can't ape rate, they're gonna get killed by. All right. And then park rangers are gonna
Furries
say,
will
like,
form their own society, their own subgenus of humans after a few generations.
Then park rangers from sea to shining sea across these United States are going to be like, well, he had on a fursuit. That's plausible deniability.
No, but that furry stream, I felt bad because we actually had a pretty decent conversation with Joe Strike, who was
Joe's nice.
One of the original furries from the 70s.
Well, I've known
he was
Joe
there.
since 2004 because we were in the same New York animation community. And in fact, for the people who didn't see, let me show you.
They also went to the same furry parties, which Lev failed to mention, but.
Yes, well, you gotta, if you know,
by
you know.
the way, Turkey Tom, do you know the show? Steven Universe?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Wait, did we just skim over someone going to furry parties here? Or?
Yeah, Lev, have you ever gone to a furry convention?
I have never. No, I've only gone to Comic-Con New York. That's the only one that I've gone to.
Well, see,
tickets go on sale, by the way, on Sunday at 10 a.m.
They're gonna have Comic-Con again in New York.
Yeah, they're actually doing it this year. I couldn't believe it.
Because in Toronto, they like basically are never gonna have it again. Well, maybe unless
you live in a fucking third world country.
I know.
The only difference is we live in a third world country that's still disguised as a first. So
that's
still like one of them.
Listen.
Wait.
Of all the sinking ships in the world, ours is the best. You're damn right, James.
That's fucking right, baby.
Wait, Gio, what were you saying about Rebecca Sugar?
No, I was just gonna say that Lev, he started off in animation. He was part of the original Newgrounds crew, and
not just starting off. I'm still doing animation. Break the Rules is basically a way for me to start gaining a slow animation audience as well. This is the master plan. This is actually
so once you hit like 100,000 subscribers, the next day you're like wiping everything. Just like I was an animator the whole time. What
yes, exactly. Well, no, Turkey Tom, you know what it's like because you were also in animation as well, correct?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I didn't do it very well, and I didn't do it for long, but I was kind of in the animation community. Yeah, I would say that.
Well, Lev, he went to SVA, and in
Horrible
his
school,
class,
absolute dog shit.
Oh God! But
no, I think it was a little bit better. I was earlier.
His class was Rebecca Sugar. So.
Yeah, and Lev personally witnessed her heel turn, where she ended up willing into existence this TV show. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Tony Galaxy and the Bisexual Precious Stone Wine-Ons.
Apparently, Rebecca Sugar the other day, your good friend Lev, was on the cover of this viral thing about like having you know what creators to children in anime. But anyways, that's besides. So
I really think that when it comes to Rebecca Sugar, I think she's a great artist. Like I always say, like she's a great.
Don't lie, Lev.
No. When she was at SVA, she could draw circles around us. She didn't even need to go to fucking SVA. She was already a great artist, and Duck Tanapel recognizes that, and a lot of people do. So nothing bad about that. The only thing is, I think that at a certain point, the fandom of a person grips the person and just holds them hostage in such a way that I think a person ends up changing over time in order to cater to whichever.
Well, look at the
fandom
animation community on Twitter and YouTube now. Like look at the animation people on Twitter. You want to talk about like quote unquote crazy like progressive nonsense. I mean, they have even more of a rigid sort of like social orthodoxy. Like even like Lev is pretty much perma-canceled from the animation community on YouTube at this point.
Some of those guys are still pretty edgy. Like if you watch like what is Psychic Pebbles, he's pretty edgy, and he got like his own show now, I think, right?
Well, that's not animation Twitter. I mean, you could say that's tangential to it, but that's more of like Newgrounds people.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, there's the Newgrounds guys are still around, and as far as like the guys who like talk about cartoons, I like Rebel Taxi. He's pretty good. He makes like cartoon videos. You know who he is? Pan Pizza. Him and he like knows people in the industry, I think too, but. Yeah, definitely when I was in that community, there was kind of a level of cringe going on, which like, in all fairness, if you're an adult who's like watching cartoons made for 12-year-olds, like, I don't care who you are. Like what you want. There's a little cringe going on. I'm just saying like.
Tom, real quickly, do you remember, I forget his name, but there was a blue tick who was like, "Oh my god, if you people don't like the Thundercats remake," and then he made like a 400 tweet thread as to like, no, it's not the dog shit animation and the bottom shelf quality. You're the problem. You're the reason we can't. You're the reason we can't have nice things.
Well, by the way, I wanted to use this opportunity to shill my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Lev Polyakov.
You do an art stream every Sunday.
Yeah, I do in fact, I'm going to do an art stream this Sunday as well. But over here, I wanted to quickly show you. This is from an animation I did called Fantastic Plastic. And let's see if it loads. Here we go. It's still loading. Here we go. So there's this fat guy who wants to get a hot dog out of his briefcase, but then yeah. Oh god,
it kind of does look like me if I shave.
And there's this French lady over here who brought her. Man, of all the times for this shit to stall, because I really wanted to share this shit right now, and now it's stalling. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
You animated the wheel really well.
Oh, thank you. So she gets very angry at her dog being portrayed as too fat, and this is the receptionist gal over here. My God, like
her
out of
dog's
all the
a
times
hecking
for
chonker.
Out of all the times for it to hold on, it was a.
Real quickly, as Lev deals with the technical issues, Gio, I appreciate you bringing up the orthodoxy in animation Twitter, where like I suppose the most egregious example are members of the Steven Universe fandom bullying their own on more than one occasion into attempting suicide because they didn't make their fan art fat enough and ugly enough, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
like,
that was, there was this one guy he was like part of some animation like industry clearinghouse. Like I heard he's a total grifter, but he had this thread that blew up. It was basically like a dog shit recycled Jacob Geller video about how like traditional art is fascist. And as someone who defends like quote unquote modern and contemporary art on the online right, like, I mean, the whole like thing, I mean, I guess like if we had time, we could probably like, I think that for all the good, like I don't want to like totally shit on him, but I just don't like that one video in particular, the Jacob Geller video, I think is kind of like, I mean, some guy that like, oh, I work for Kotaku. It's like, some of his videos are good. I'm not gonna lie, like, but that one particular video I think is missing the mark. I think, and it's such an old thesis. It goes back to the 70s. It goes back to fucking the Susan Sontag essay about how she called it the cult of beauty, how beauty is inherently related to fascism. And it's like, this is such an old take, but yet it seems that animation Twitter and animation YouTube, they sort of like take that approach literally, to where the venerating like the ugly bodies are sort of like a mark of their anti-fascism, which is kind
Sorry
of...
to interrupt you, but I have a meeting to go to, so I'm gonna head out. Thank you for having me on, and obviously my YouTube's Brittany Venti. If you want to hear more about the anti-porn stuff or me getting raged at by mostly men in the comments. And,
thanks for coming by.
Thank you,
and last
Brittany.
thing I want to
It's a
say before I
pleasure.
dip out is that there's a strong correlation between porn use and rape. So I'm gonna end on that note.
Brittany,
Anyway,
before you leave, one last question. Did you have any of the red velvet cake on the party on the weekend?
no.
Oh, because it was the best red velvet cake like the world has ever eaten. All right, like
Yeah, I might have to move to New York because I
love
missed
how
out my
autistic
country
Stain
at this
Haynes is.
point.
You can stay over at my place.
There you go.
Hey, James, Laguli's is the best fucking bakery on the planet.
Bye,
Bye,
Brittany.
Brittany. Thank you so much for coming in. And by the way, now this fucking video is finally going to work because I put it on the other computer. So here, I just want to show you real quick just this scene over here with the plastic surgery guy. So this is the plastic surgery doctor. He comes in and he shows the French socialite lady the new dog. So all the fat has been
Wait, he
drained
gives
out.
plastic surgery to animals?
Yes, he's an animal and human plastic surgeon. So she gets very happy. And the dog's name is Napoleon, by the way. And she sees his scar over here, and that kind of displeases her. But then he just gets rid of the string like that.
Oh, God.
And Napoleon gets really angry. And the point is that Napoleon ends up seeing, the fat guy's about to eat the hot dog, but no can do. No can do, buddy. So, because he has to get the liposuction. Well, actually, you'll see what happens to him. So when you watch Fantastic Plastic, you'll see what happens to that fat guy. It's actually not liposuction. It's something that is actually very cancelable today. Like, you would not be able to make this. I'd be able to make this, but most people wouldn't. But anyway, so the
Love's
Napoleon...
just built different.
grabs the hot dog. She does not want him to eat. She wants him to starve, to maintain this new figure of his. She reminds him that he's too fat and all that. And then what happens
the
next
message is fat body
Yes.
positivity.
Yes, but then the remote control goes on, and he sees Bobby Schnaz, who's this pop singer, and you could tell what's going on. Napoleon thinks that, his nose is actually the sausage that he wants to eat. So as a result, the doctor hints that they should visit the concert. So here it is in the concert of Bobby Schnaz, and
Lev, don't give everything away. We have to.
Yes, guys, if you want
to super chats, I mean.
Yes, if you want to see the full thing, this is just a preview. If you want to see the full thing, Fantastic Plastic, Lev Polyakov, I only have 693 subscribers, which is pathetic. It is incredibly pathetic. So you guys subscribe to youtube.com/Lev Polyakov. I'm going to have an art stream that is going to be coming up really soon, and that is going to be this Sunday. And this Sunday, that is going to be with Slav from the Fed Post. So make sure.
Trustworthy Slav.
Nice.
Exactly. So make sure that you subscribe to that, and here is the link to that post. I'm going to post it in the chat. So take a look. Watch Fantastic Plastic. Let me know what you think. I am done shilling, except for saying subscribe.
All right, I'm shilling now.
As well. Okay.
Fucking watch listen to MkUltramoney on fucking Spotify or all the other fucking platforms. Subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/MkUltramoney, and buy a fucking shirt at grift.shop. They're up until like Monday or Tuesday. We're officially announcing tomorrow. We're extending it because it's supposed to end tomorrow. We're going until Monday or Tuesday, and then that's it. We're only keeping the MK Ultra victim shirt in the shop. Everything else is fucking going. Grift.shop. And if you're a Patreon of either Break the Rules or MkUltramoney, you get 15% off. If you're not one of my patrons, but you're one of Lev's, hit him up and he'll give you the discount code. And also Lev and Jules are patrons. So you'll be in good company subscribing to patreon.com/MkUltramoney. And Lev did you order your shirt yet, Lev?
I'm looking through it right now.
He's ordering
swear to
shirt
God.
right now.
I swear to God, I'm ordering it right now.
Jules already has his fucking shirt coming. He got the MK Ultra victim one because that's what he is, an MK Ultra victim. Fucking
I believe it actually. I actually believe it.
Yeah. Stain Haynes has his fucking White Claw.
My shirt is on the way because if you were at James's birthday party and you didn't piss on the White Claw in the Silent Hill bathroom, you weren't at that fucking party, my friend.
Bro, even Justin Wang bought one of those shirts. We were at a fucking wrestling match. Fucking Grift Shop dropped the shirt, and Wang saw it and was like, "Yo, I need it," and he bought it immediately.
What bill did you see with Justin?
What?
What match? What company?
The Great American Trash.
Yeah, no, it's someone that I know through my film friends and stuff, MV Young, and that was actually the first time I met Justin in person. Was February of last year at one of the MV shows, and I'm like going to the bathroom and I'm like, Justin? He's like, James? And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? Because like, it was a friend's event. And then we're like, yeah, we got to hang out soon. And then the fucking pandemic happened. But
so I want to get to super chats, and then the final question for Tom. And Tom, I really appreciate you being here, spending time with us.
Do you have merchandise,
yes.
Turkey Town?
I do not know. You can go to turkeytom.net, redirects to my YouTube channel, and that's it. That's all I have.
And subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jenner Productions.
Oh, and real quickly, subscribe to 718 TV. It's the
Hell
best
yeah.
public access television you ain't watching, ladies and jerks.
Right.
Here's a link to it in the chat. So on to the super chats right now. We've gotten a lot. And again, this is your rare opportunity right now as I am speaking. If you want to sneed some super chats, sneed it right now. This is the last chance for you to be able to sneed them out so that I actually can read them on the screen. So here we go. We start from here. Oh, and by the way, we have a new patron. Well, this was 4 hours ago. We got a new patron, so thank you very much for your patronage of $5. I don't want to say your name because I don't want to dox you. Anyway, over here, Super Iron Bob, $5. OnlyFans is a product of a society that didn't engage young men that they participated, leaving young women to fend for themselves. Any quick thoughts before we move on?
Facts.
Okay.
It's true. I mean, I think that, like, this is the problem with ceding public morality to market forces, unironically. But go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Next, we have $20, 20 smackaroos from Jessica Pizzle, who says, "This is my first time on this channel. Dr. Sharvago sent me a link when I wanted to watch a live, and it's so interesting and entertaining." Aw, thank you so much,
thank you,
Jessica.
sweetheart. Thank you
And
very much.
don't forget to subscribe as well, and yada yada yada. Nicholas Diorio, $5. Hippity.
I don't think that's
God.
the real Nicholas Diorio, but maybe I don't
Yes.
know.
Okay. He says hippity hoppity women are property.
Oh God.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Next, Super Iron Bob, $2 says, "Aren't handymen just rental husbands?"
Oh,
Facts.
that's true.
Facts.
Interesting.
Facts.
Next, we have Wendigoon. Men
Wendigoon. What did? Oh my God.
You okay, Gio?
Wendigoon.
You okay, buddy?
What's going on?
The goon. Yeah, it's like Goon Caves and the Wendigo. Oh, I love it. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, Lev.
You watch his YouTube? He's great.
Yes, men are not animals. Women do not have to sell themselves as such. I mean, that's a big question as far as I understand what Brittany's talking about.
We all
but,
sell ourselves at the end of the day, Lev.
yeah, but to me, like, the question's always like, to what extent is the sexual urge something that can be controlled to as much of an extent as, let's say, I don't know, just stopping stopping slavery, for instance. Like, it just seems to me like sexual urges is something that's higher on the, Maslow's hierarchy than owning slaves. I know.
I don't know, Lev. I beg to differ. Actually, no, I'm kidding.
Okay, next we have...
Go ahead. What were you gonna say, Tom?
Sorry, I was yawning. I'm a little
Oh,
sleepy.
God.
No problem. Max 87L or 871. I think it's 87L. $5. How about a compromise by making it that there's no free porn and there's a legal minimum you have to pay?
Yeah, the people have proposed that, but
Right,
Yeah.
but herein lies the
OnlyFans.
but herein lies the problem though. Wherever there is an opportunity to regulate something or make money, there will always be a criminal element. Like in fucking, hey, remember when prohibition worked? Because I don't.
Indeed. Well, next we have Martin K. $100 NOK dollars. So
Fake money,
it's
let's
$11.
go.
$11.
fake money.
Fake
No,
money,
but it's
let's go.
$11.38. So I appreciate
Is that
that
Norwegian?
highly.
What is that? Swedish?
Yeah, it's the Norwegian money,
Norwegian.
yes. So he says, "Hey, folks, recognize me, bros." No, that's before. That's after this one over here. "Love you guys. Hello from Rondan, Norway. In from my holiday cabin, maxing at 1,200 meters above sea level."
Doesn't
Man,
sound like a real place, but
I've seen
glad you're
pictures
doing
of his
you.
cabin. Amazing.
Yeah, well, the Norwegians are just elves
Norway,
after all.
fake country, never, not real.
And next, Martin has another one here for 50 NOK. "Hey folks, recognize me, bros, on a nighttime hike back home to my cabin and listening live for the first time in the month." Thank you so much, Martin. I really
Nice.
appreciate it.
Let's
And,
go.
another 50 NOK from the great Martin K. "BAP is the best, and I will see, I get so paranoid. I will do things to people for him as well as you guys."
I will
So-
Roblox people for.
Thank
Brian
you.
Spirit.
Thank you, Gio. Okay, and next we have the final one, unless there's going to be another super chat. No name, $5. "You should have the Meth Squad for a stream in the future." I've never heard of the Meth Squad before. Have any of you guys? I'm going to take a look.
The meth,
Meth squad is like this dangerous squad of people that come and force you to get addicted to meth. And
Yeah, there's like a derelict
that-
building in the city next to me. I think they hang out there.
it was part of Jules's MkUltra initiation. So
meth squad. This rings a bell.
All right, I'm going to take a look later. But to my final question, unless you guys have also some final questions for Tom. Okay, here we go. Here's my final question for Tom. Since you're interested in English literature, and from what I see, like, you are a very smart guy, very articulate, and do you think that what you do right now with the commentary, which is very insightful and entertaining, and like I said before, very addictive, do you think that at a certain point you're going to transition to something more of like, I don't know, like trying to recreate, because this is kind of like my mission here with BTR. I want to recreate some kind of a intelligentsia on the internet, just like some kind of a place where there's like a higher level of discourse for whatever that means.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, what I do is entertainment. I consider it that way. I don't really see it as much more than that. I try to do it the best I can, and I try to be as consistent as I can, but I'm not trying to create like an intellectual Joe Rogan dark web. I do think that I have greater aspirations than doing a YouTube commentary thing. I have plans to work on like documentaries and stuff like that. I am friends with someone and work with someone that we're currently kind of talking about and planning potentially pitching something to like a big service like Netflix or Amazon Prime, like a big kind of documentary style show. I don't want to give a lot more details than that, but yeah, I mean, I definitely have aspirations outside of YouTube. But I don't know. I don't consider myself as like a great thinker or philosopher.
But
Maybe
eventually, like as far as just your own personal satisfaction, as far as like 20 years from now, would there be certain things that you would want to put more time into as far as reading or learning or researching? Like what are some things that you would be really passionate about? Just like
would you make videos about like other things besides like the general YouTube
Oh yeah.
landscape?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely trying to move out of that within the next few years. Because I like the YouTube drama and I think I'll always find it entertaining. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, I mean, for sure, I have interests completely outside of that. My like I have a huge interest in like music and like movies and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely like I've created like projects that aren't on YouTube right now that are related to stuff like that because I think I don't see myself as like a great reviewer, but I think I like analyzing like the culture around pieces of art and the way that works.
Yeah,
And so
that's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely would be interested in doing stuff like that. Like I wrote a video about Marilyn Manson that I haven't released. And I've
interesting.
edited it. But I would want to like go over it again because I think I wrote it about 9 months ago and I think I could write it better. But yeah, I definitely have plans to kind of transcend talking about X YouTuber did this to this, whatever. Like, yeah.
Because it seems that you do have a knack for talking about the gestalt around a certain community or cult of personality. You have a keen ability to sort of like summarize, like, okay, here's the players, here's what happened. Like you can fit it in narrative form better than a lot of other people. Like certainly better than a lot of like commentary people. I mean,
I think the problem is that with the video essay genre, there's kind of this this impression that people have where you need to have a great conclusion to everything. And what I try to do is like walk the line between like sometimes there is a great story there, sometimes it's just a series of events with no greater purpose, lesson, meaning. And that's kind of the thing that I want to do. I want to not force a narrative where there isn't one. And that's yeah.
I have one question, and I hope I'm not stepping on your toes.
No, go ahead.
But speaking of certain people, you got into some pretty heavy controversy. A month ago with a certain other, if I should mention his name.
A month ago? I might not know about it.
Pyrocynical. That was.
Oh yeah, that was like 7 months ago. But yeah,
7 months. Sorry,
yeah.
my mind is.
It's all right. No, I get it.
What do you like? Do you regret certain things, or do you think that some accusations are credible, or like you got some pretty? I think it was one of the only videos I saw that got heavily like downvoted and ratioed. I mean,
oh my god, yeah, the ratio was insane. Yeah, I mean, I've been asked this on a few other shows I've done over the past few months. I mean, my kind of take on it is I don't regret the overall message I had in those videos because ultimately I think that I was more right than people will let on. There were like certain concessions I had to make throughout the drama, which I made in like my latest video. But a lot of people ask me to like respond to it. I'm totally open to talking about it, but it's like I'm not going to do another video on it because if you want to see my opinion, there's 3 on my channel. So,
but do you think that it was more of like maybe negligence on his part, or do you think there was some kind of like active like seeking out, or do you think that maybe Pyrocynical was just maybe getting into a situation he really didn't?
I think basically he's like it's mostly negligence. I think he's a really like sexual degenerate, and I think basically he was talking to anyone he could possibly talk to about these weird fetishes.
Is it true he's a furry?
Yeah, he is a furry. Yeah.
Oh, that's say no more. Say no more.
I think part of it for him was like just talking to random people. I think that was probably part of the sexual thing. I don't think he's like a pedophile or anything like that.
But maybe I do think voyeur. He could like there's a voyeuristic sort of.
Yeah, there's like a weird part of it where I think he basically was just trying to talk to anyone sexually, which is what I said in my videos, and he ended up saying that like he was basically looking for anyone to talk to, and he didn't really care about anything past that. As far as who they were. And I basically think I don't think he's a pedophile. Yeah.
So he's a trisexual. He'll try anything sexual.
Well, the messages he was sending were like he was into like sniffing farts and like he was talking about like sweaty moobs and shit like that, like inflation. So he's into some really off stuff.
Inflation. I mean, look what we got here. We got Tom Turkey.
Lev, don't post it. Don't fucking post. No, I know what you're gonna
Tom,
post.
you did his MK Ultra trigger phase. God damn it.
Lev,
Don't worry,
do not
Gio. I'm
post.
not gonna post it. I'm not gonna post it.
You're
It's
gonna
okay.
post it. I know
No,
you're
I'm not.
gonna-
No,
Go
I'm
ahead.
not.
Just
Why would
show Turkey Tom the fucking knowledge. Go. Do it. I don't care anymore at this point.
I don't know if I should. I don't know if I
Just
should.
do
This
it.
is
You're
the
gonna
worst
do it
running
anyway, just
bit
do
of
it.
all time. How
Lev
is
has
this
this
every
obsession-
running bit this show has is bad?
One
Yeah.
of these days, there's gonna be like a Reservoir Dogs Mexican standoff over this fucking thing.
Yeah. Lev, go
No,
ahead.
no, I'm not gonna do it for the first time. I'm not gonna
Lev
do it.
is, he,
I'm not gonna
he-
do it.
For some reason, he loves posting this inflated Nala. Was Nala the love interest from Lion King?
Yeah, Simba's gal. Yeah.
Oh, the one that basically created like a whole generation of millennial fairies with
Yes,
their seductive
exactly.
gaze.
Her,
Is that why
yes.
it's inflated? That's why.
Okay.
I'm
No.
just
I played it with
posting,
all
you
the
gotta
cum
post
after
it now,
all the
bro.
furries had their take at her.
Oh
But
God.
no, I
Okay.
didn't. I thought it was just a rumor that Pyrocynical was a furry, but I didn't know like he's. Wow, that's crazy.
No, it's
because-
confirmed. Yeah.
Because you went after people that I feel like I don't. First of all, I don't know why these fucking like the I'm Alex guy. I don't know why these fucking people are popular. I guess maybe Zoomers have. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay,
Keep
stop.
in
On
mind,
that note,
Gio.
I'm gonna have to step out of the show. No, I'm joking.
Gio,
I
keep
mean,
in
the
mind.
funniest thing about the whole pyro
Yeah.
furry thing is like back in the day, like Keemstar made this like he used to call Pyro a furry all the time.
Yeah, it was like, a
like
meme.
consistently, and Pyro made videos where he was like, "I'm not a fucking furry. The fact that you have gotten this impression of me and lied about me is amazing."
I remember.
And like the whole
that,
time, it's just a
yeah.
furry. It's like, wow, you know.
And
there
this
it
is the Sneed version, by the way. This is what happens when Fat Nala combines with Sneed. It
Oh,
creates.
this is terrible.
it
This
creates
is psychological
Snala.
terrorism right here.
Yeah, I mean, the reason, again, why I chose it is we had this stream where this guy said the word pride. And for some reason, I remember, like, lion pride. And then I remembered this sense of pride that a lot of furries feel from just, like, the dumbest things ever. So I decided to combine it together where I searched for, like, a fat Nala or inflated Nala. And there we go. The rest is history.
Hit the DeviantArt link and the rest is history. Lev, you have these weird connections in your mind you make. It's amazing. Like
No,
the
but
cat girl milk, the cat milk thing.
No. But the pride, I think it makes sense. I mean, we just had Pride Month right now. So the whole thing to me, it's like, I don't like the fact that today people are being proud about things other than what they're able to accomplish. You know what I mean? Like, inflating oneself. I guess you could say that's a physical accomplishment.
Pride
but
coometh before the fall.
exactly. You
as
know what I
they
mean?
say.
Like,
Mhm.
and again, I don't care either way when it comes to sexual orientation or anything like that, but when it comes to just like what exactly do people care about, that's the thing that kind of irks me a lot about today's generation online, where they have the pronouns in the bio and they have all this different stuff that says nothing about what exactly they bring to the table. It's more about just this very shallow idea of identity.
Oh, speaking of pronouns, Stain, did you hear about our good friend? What's her name now? Sterling, Jim Sterling. Stacy Sterling.
Oh, yeah, and if memory serves me correctly,
Apparently,
they
she is a
released a
pro
video.
wrestler.
They
Yeah.
oh wait, do tell.
You don't know about this?
Dude, I live under a rock with Wi-Fi, and one of the few reasons I ever come out is when James is gracious enough to be like, "Get out the fucking house, we're partying." I'm like, "All right, I'll bring
Okay,
tape,
so
I'll bring
I don't
tape."
want to misgender because of course it's YouTube, but apparently, Stacy / Jim Sterling, she is a pro
Wait,
wrestler.
Jim Sterling transitioned?
Yes. But here's the kicker.
That does not surprise me at all.
They were doing a live stream. I'm going to say they as the pronoun. Yeah, because the pronoun is they. Did a live stream of their wrestling event. The first time doing wrestling since they transitioned. And there was one part where the announcer, and keep in mind, most like indie, most like indie mud show events, they don't get paid. They get like a hot dog and a handshake. So the commentators misgendered Sterling, and they made a big deal about it. And they had like these wrestlers call the announcer and fired the announcer from this British promotion. I think the promotion was Rise. So it was kind of like the Indie Mud Show version of a Rev Pro in England. But so there's like, 12 people in the audience, whatever. And so apparently this announcer got fired for misgendering Stacey Sterling, or I don't know the name of Jim Sterling, but I find it hilarious that the fact that they as a pro wrestler now is kind of, well, I mean, if Big Viscera could be a pro wrestler, I guess.
Wait, but is whoever the name is Sterling in women's pro wrestling right now?
Well, no, because they're they them, but yeah, I guess they came out in a dress and it was this awkward kind of thing. I don't know.
No, but
they have intergender matches.
For a while I was confused because I thought you meant Jim Sterling, the British dude who was like a video game critic.
That is the same.
He also
that's the same. I had no idea he was a professional wrestler too.
They is a professional.
Excuse me. Okay, so if memory serves me correctly, they released a video where they were like, "I'm hemorrhaging followers because you're a bunch of racists."
Yeah. No. Yes. Basically, Sterling said that this announcer, just by one quick misgendering, ruined this whole like wrestling comeback. The first time Sterling wrestled as fully gender confirmed. So you didn't see this clip?
I don't, dude. I listen. I don't keep up with much of the internet other than like 11 sites.
I know about this because Andy Worski was recently staying with PPP and Surfer. They live near each other, and they covered it on one of their live streams. By the way, go to Daka, where basically PPP and Surfer's channel. They have this excellent career-long interview with Andy Worski where he covers all the nitty and gritty detail in 4 parts. I think it was a great interview. I think Andy, he covered like his whole thing from the beginning of YouTube till aim, if anyone recalls that.
If Andy was a furry, he'd be called Andy Vorsky. And with that, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate everybody being here.
This has been amazing. Turkey Tom.
Yes, Turkey Tom.
Great.
Tom, thanks for coming on by. James, it's always a pleasure, regardless of medium. Lev, it was a pleasure to meet you, even though you had to leave early at James's party. But it was great to see the man in the flesh. And let it be known that Lev has the second fanciest leather jacket I have seen with my own 2 eyes. No, he straight up looked like he was about to like swoop down the street. Well,
he may have swooped up a lady. May have swooped up a lady, as rumors have it. I mean, there's a lot
Jesus
of
Christ. How did that thing go from Pulp Fiction? Like when you guys go together, you're worse than the sewing circle. Do you remember that?
Listen, I didn't throw Tony Rocky Horror out a fucking 3-story window that fell out into the greenhouse. That was someone else, all right? That was Gio.
Well, that was like Francis Bacon got thrown out of a glass window into a garden.
Well, you're talking about this
picture.
So you guys are probably talking about this picture over here with Brittany Venti. And by the way, we also
he has to show it now.
Yes,
that's like
here we go.
He doesn't even have like the Millennial
jacket.
Woes hover hand. He's got the full on, like taking the neck of her back there, whatever they call it.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't I? But anyway,
they look like a cute couple.
Okay, when it comes to, I also went with Brittany Venti and some people from Fair to why is this playing all the time? You gotta stop this. To the National Arts Club recently, and that was a fun excursion. I brought them to Gramercy Park, and that's where that picture was taken. By the way, do you know the one with Brittany with those flowers in the background? That was Gramercy Park. The only private park in New York City. So you guys should visit. Next time, Tom, when you're in the city, let me know if you want to go to the National Arts Club. We'll hang out. We'll have, well, you're not old enough to drink yet, but whatever. We'll hang out.
You're in New York, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I should be going there sometime. Sometime during the college year, I did a trip to New York my last semester at college with a friend because he's in the music school. And so we went to like Juilliard and all that.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I'll definitely be around. I'll let you know. I'll shoot you a DM.
Excellent.
I don't know what's gonna happen on the 21st if they're gonna let un-Fauci ouchie people out of my country. If I could,
we gotta smuggle you out, but that's why you gotta lose enough weight so that we could put you in a briefcase. You know what I mean?
God.
We'll smuggle you and Bimbo Ubermensch out, and you guys can come to my party next month.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, she's married, bro. But Turkey Tom.
She's just base. That's all.
I know. I love
Gio,
Bimbo.
I'm not trying to fuck you either. So.
Well, James, I don't know, James. See, I don't trust you around my what was treating she called the bussy. So final thoughts. 2 questions.
Oh, and by the way, before that, here's another picture from the National Arts Club that was taken over here. Hold on, it's loading. Why the fuck is it loading so slow? Everybody subscribe while this picture is loading. This is not right. It should not be loading this long.
Smash the like button.
Smash the like button. Smash the
the bell.
subscribe button. Yeah, okay,
The
here we
like
go.
button.
So here's the picture over here. This was our National Arts Club excursion over
You know
here.
Michael Scotto,
Yeah.
Wow.
Michael Scotto was there. Yeah. And Julia was there as well. You see Julia next to Brittany there. And there's Daniel. You remember
Lev
Daniel?
just
He was on
towering
our
in the
stream.
middle.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember Daniel from our stream from the last one? Yeah. So here he is.
So 2 final questions. One, well, the joke one is, what do you think of buck breaking, Turkey Tom? And number 2, what is the
More like gobble breaking, because chickens say buck, 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 and
I
it's
haven't
like
seen
gobble,
buck
gobble.
breaking
Okay.
actually. I know of it because I
Tom
like
is the
follow
one who
Turkish
breaks the bucks.
loosely.
yeah?
Exactly. I'm the buck breaker. Some may
That's
say.
right.
Oh,
Let's go.
Would you do a video on Tariq? I mean, that would be a pretty interesting.
No, I would. I've considered it. I have it on like a list of video ideas that I just haven't gotten to. But yeah, I definitely would because no one's done like a good like topic video
Breakdown.
like his history. Yeah.
from
Yeah, no,
his
that'd be a
rapper
really good topic.
days. Yeah.
Yeah, watch your
his
ass.
pickup artist days, and it should be noted. I find it fascinating how he can't seem to go. Like, I think if he goes 10 minutes without like tweeting about
Why is
white
this always-
people or buck breaking, he reverts to his original form, which is like some homunculus in 2000s clothing going like, "Hey baby, you like foreplay?" standing on a corner like some amateur PUA. Like he's
he
a weird.
was like the first like African American centric pickup artist. You like one of the first. Like, no, actually I shouldn't say that because people think that the pickup artistry started with Mystery here in Toronto. I'm outside of Toronto, thank God. But no, it actually started with the book by the one pimp. What was his name? Herman Slim? Was that his
Iceberg
name?
Slim.
Iceberg Slim, yeah.
Yes.
That's where pickup artistry started. Was his book How
Oh
to Be a Pimp.
damn! Gio confirmed to work for Pepperidge Farms. He's like a fucking he's a 70-year-old man in a young man's body. This guy's gonna be going about. Let me tell you about the fucking flappers. See?
It's
guy.
there actually was, believe it. Speaking of the flappers, there was a manual of well, throughout history there've been courtship books, but there was a manual in the 20s during the heyday of the Roaring 20s, was basically like a proto hipster thing that a lot of like the earlier like manifestations of pimps read. And then like Iceberg Slim, he came out with his book, and then all of a sudden New York, you had like in the 70s and 80s, you had like pimps basically reading this book in prison because it was circulating throughout the prisons. Same with by the way, Bill Cooper, you know how he got popular? Because Behold a Pale Horse, I can't believe they let this go on. It was the biggest fucking mistake in the world for the government. Well, one of them. They let it was very popular, Behold a Pale Horse in California prison system. So a lot of these rappers, they're so woke on the New World Order because a lot of the OGs read Behold a Pale Horse in the California prison system. So then they talk about the New World Order.
Oh, if I could just build on what Gio is saying real quickly. Listen, the people people who were in the 60s and 70s saw active measures taken against like the American Indian movement, the Black Panthers.
Yeah,
like,
Активные мероприятия. That's
Yes.
what it's called in Russian.
Yeah.
all those groups got infiltrated. All those groups got infiltrated and subverted. And so if all the worst nightmares and watching your community collapse around you in real time because of drugs as well, then the young generation is going to grow up hearing nothing but bickering and listen, and in a way, like they end up becoming like super woke on enough. I think it's fascinating when like a hood rat of all people at a bodega is like, nah, I don't touch receipts. They got them fake ass estrogen shit in them. And it's like, yo,
I
this
can't
guy's
believe
on point.
it.
Like, and I'm like, this guy's on point.
Like this shit originated on like Sallow forums with like when Bronze Age Pervert and Hakan were there. Like basically like neo-reaction concepts have now bled, like they've trickled down to like hood rats and bodegas. That's amazing.
Yeah,
like don't touch the estrogen receipts. They have xenoestrogens being.
By the way, wouldn't the bodega cats take care of the hood rats? No, never mind.
Oh, you son of a!
I hate to cut this short, but I haven't eaten dinner yet. I really got
All right,
out of here.
Tom, thank you so much for being
Tom,
here.
What are going to be some
Tom,
future videos before you go?
Thanks for pulling through, dude.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on. I got one more video in the tank right now. Before I'm taking like next week basically off from YouTube. But I'm doing a video about the theory that Logan Paul faked the famous Suicide Forest video. So I'm gonna go over all the evidence from that. Should be an interesting video. Yeah. Yep.
Makes sense to me. Well, Turkey Tom, you're the best. Thank you so much for coming on. Everybody follow Turkey Tom on YouTube, on Twitter. I mean, what am I saying? You guys are already following him, but if you are not, then follow him right now. Subscribe to us. Patreon.com. I cannot emphasize it enough. We got to grow, and the only way we're going to grow is thanks to your help. Patreon.com/breaktherules. This is how the sausage is going to be made. This is how the fudge is going to be packed. It's all going to be thanks to you guys.
Oh, I'll show you how the fudge
You know a lot about
packed,
packing fudge, don't you, Lev?
Jesus Christ, fuck you.
That was amazing. That was a great follow.
Hey, I like fudge. My grandma makes excellent fudge. She packs it well. All right, I'm gonna get out of here.
We're gonna break Lev's buck at my next party. So.
Oh
man, I can't wait.
Give him some pills. Get that pussy.
Damn it, Tom! You leave Noni out of this. All right.
I'm sorry.
Everybody,
you
thank you so much.
abuela out of this, eh? Like AOC's abuela. You gotta.
Thank you
When I
guys.
say abuela, I think I am like 1/16 Spanish, so I could probably.
There we go.
There you go.
You got that card.
Confirmed.
You
Exclusive
can say
BTR.
abuela with the hard R.
Get that abuela out of here.
But Turkey Tom, this has been amazing. Thank you so much, my friend. This has been amazing. I love this. I was looking forward to this all month almost, pretty much.
Same here. Thank you guys so much for watching. And keep subscribing, keep sneeding, keep patronizing, and we are going to be back next week.
Chats.
Yes, we are going to be back next week with a great guest, and that great guest is going to be Jack Murphy. So be sure to go into this link that I'm going to...
They got him.
Oh, God.
He was about to reveal the guest, and they killed him.
Lev,
wait, what do you mean? I'm there. Yeah,
they don't want us to know who the guest is.
I
think surprise, guys.
I think because earlier in the stream, if you said CP enough times, Vosh snipes your stream.
Hold on. No, everything's fine. No, the internet.
Okay, so next week is Uncle Doomer. No, who is?
No, everything's good with the internet. The internet connection's stable. You
Doomer's
guys
next week?
No, not Doomer. So next week we're gonna have Jack Murphy, and you guys see me, right? I'm still here, aren't I?
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna have Jack Murphy on, and then we are gonna have. Don't forget this Sunday. Before that, we are gonna have the Lev stream, art stream, and that is happening soon. The internet connection's getting crazy right now, so we're kind of cutting off, but that's okay because we're ending the stream right now anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
so,
Lev, I can't hear you.
Yeah, so go to
Damn it, Lev! The calls are coming from inside the house.
Here we go. You guys see me?
Don't worry, Lev will post enough about it on Twitter anyways. You'll see who's coming on.
Yeah, you'll see what's coming on. Okay, this is the end of the stream. Thank you guys so much for watching.
We'll end the stream, Lev. That's...
Yeah. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Wait, you guys still don't see me.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You guys still don't